Everybody's going to share a take. It can be from any topic. So we're covering anime, gaming, movies, comics. So we can just pick and choose. So everyone, as a gentleman, we'll start with ladies first. You know what I'm saying?
Fine
so
by me.
Asia.
Absolutely. Fight on your day off. One Piece sucks is not a hot take. It is a fact. And you know what?
Is it a fact?
That actually leads me to my first hot take.
If that's a fact, then them hot takes we saw with Naruto sucks. My Hero Academia sucks. What else sucks? Death Note. Forget about Death Note.
You were giving me so much ammunition for what I'm about to say. My first hot take that I want to start off with is here. Wait, I want to get the wording correct. Here's my thing with One Piece. It's a very high possibility that One Piece is actually good. You know what makes it bad? Fans. One Piece fans are toxic cult demons. I said it. I'll repeat it. One Piece fans are toxic cult demons. Y'all are worse than bars.
You just gave me a nice hot take.
Excuse me, ladies first. I'm giving my hot take. I will let you give your hot take in a minute.
You got it.
Give me.
You got it.
I do.
You got it.
And I do. Like I was saying,
soft girl. I got
like I was saying, very soft, very soft.
We're
So like
gonna see
I'm
in a few
saying,
minutes.
I've actually started reading the first One Piece manga, and I'm not gonna lie, it is good. The first couple pages that I've read, I didn't even know that Luffy had that stretchy skin.
Luffy.
I say Luffy to piss you off, so hush. I didn't know that Luffy had like expandable Mr. Fantastic Four skin. And I think
Rip off.
and I think how he got that power is hilarious by accidentally eating that berry thing. And they're like, bro, why'd you do that? So here's the thing. I'm enjoying what's going on right now. I feel unsafe and uncomfortable discussing it because of psychopaths like Tori and the rest of y'all in the One Piece community.
Psychopaths?
Y'all are sociopaths. I apologize.
That's
Sociopaths. At least, yeah.
It's still not good.
So again, I think One Piece may even be a great anime. Like I said, I'm still reading the first manga, but One Piece fans ruin it.
I'm mad because you stole one of
End
my
of my
hot takes.
take.
But anyway.
End of my take.
I got a hot take.
Well, let's check the comments first. We got a lot to respond to. Hold on.
Okay, let's
We got
see.
another, what's the bits?
Anubis.
Anubis, appreciate
Appreciate the bits.
Somebody says Zephyr Dish agreed. Okay. Alex Woodard said talk about it. Zephyr Dish said swear to God. So seems like some people are feeling my take.
Any other comments, Asia?
One Piece is a toxic fandom from Fight on Your Day Off. Yorel says nothing makes it bad. Jada Goddess says, how about the Bleach community? LOL. I don't know much about the Bleach fan base. Can y'all speak on them?
If they haven't popped up on our radar, then they can't.
Appreciate the stars.
You know what?
Hey,
I agree.
Joseph, thanks for the stars. Appreciate you.
Because Mr. Boggs says, I'm a Bleach fan, but I'm not toxic. Bisa Blaze said, I tried to watch One Piece. I made it to episode 323 and gave up.
Okay, as far as Bleach fans, I don't think they're that bad because Bleach fans were starving for dang near a decade. So they're just happy to have their show back.
Yeah.
They're not like One Piece fans. But go ahead, Asia.
Afro Sage, I'm not talking down about One Piece. I'm saying it has potential from what I'm seeing to be good. Tori actually might have been right this whole time that One Piece is a great anime. I'm saying his passion, which leads to toxicity,
Violence.
death threats, doxing.
What the hell are y'all talking about?
I know you One Piece fans be doxing people.
Beyonce fans be doxing people.
See how Beyonce get dragged into this. I'm talking about One Piece.
Oh, that's
I'm
one of
talking
my
about
hot
One
takes
Piece.
right there.
So
It's a good one, too.
So last but not least, I'm going to
Oh.
end it with this. From the videos I've seen and I've seen these vulnerable black men come to our page and express that they just don't enjoy One Piece and One Piece sucks. And you know what I see in the comments? Where he live at. Let's get him, boys.
Vulnerable black man?
Drop his location. I'm
my
trying
axe.
to see something. Where's my axe? Like crazy stuff. So that's all I'm going to say.
All you saw was One Piece hater pick-me's. That's all that was.
Tori, I have a question. Aren't you one of them? Because I know you.
I'm not
Tori, pull up the screenshots.
I'm not a One Piece hater pick-me.
She got screenshots, bro.
You can screenshot
She
all
got data
day.
on you, bro.
I'm not a One Piece hater pick-me.
I've seen Tori participate in the death threats and
Here's the thing. I don't shit on anime because it's edgy. I shit on anime because I just don't like it. That's different.
I don't like it because of you.
Some people, I didn't do anything. All I did.
Tori, I live with your ass, bro.
I haven't done anything. I've done nothing. I'm innocent. I'm in my sophomore era.
If I have to have you knock on my
time
door one more
for the
damn time,
negativity.
have you heard the good news about One Piece? Nah, we ain't doing that no more. I told you.
I don't recall.
All right, that was my take. Who's next? David?
David, what you got?
Yeah, go
All
for
right, all right. So I'm gonna switch topics. I'm going to
Okay.
gaming here.
Okay.
So let me pull my topic up.
it. What you finna say?
one.
Don't piss off PC gamers again.
No, it's not about PC
Okay,
gamers.
good.
I'm gonna say not necessarily most, but a large portion of open world games are boring. Everybody pushed for open world in like the late, probably 2010 era, but
Are you really trying to say this in my presence after Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition
hold on.
just dropped
I didn't
on
say
the
all.
Switch?
I didn't say all, but there is a large portion of open world games that are boring. Here's why. Here's why. They make these giant levels, and what do we end up doing? We walking around the woods for 20 minutes to get to the village. Okay.
That sound like Lord of the
we
Rings.
hopping on a boat, riding the boat for literally 20 minutes to get to the next level. I like when they send you to a level. Let me rewind it. I'd rather have a game that has levels with stuff to do than this giant open world. I know we have fast travel and all that kind of stuff, but in general, nah. And I can name examples. One of them, I was playing recently and I was getting pissed off.
Which one?
Assassin's Creed.
That's the fun part of having an open world with Assassin's
Okay,
Creed.
I can walk around in the real world. I'm not trying to just have my character walk around for 10 minutes. If I'm in a game, I'm trying to fight, I'm trying to kill, I'm trying to shoot, I'm trying to slap.
I'm killing everything walking in
I'm
Assassin's
trying to
Creed.
slap. Really quick, I'm gonna hit some comments. Gurel Santana, I did see your comment about why One Piece fans are so aggressive, and I understand that, and I will admit I was part of that 98% of people, but now I'm one of those people that is giving it a chance. David, you actually have several people agreeing with you about your take, but
W
Anubis
take,
says
W
list
take.
them, list the games.
Yeah.
What's the
Because if I
game?
hear something that I like, then I'm gonna roast you.
Because Jason the Bruce says Assassin's Creed is the best example of your point.
I said
So does
Assassin's
Anubis.
Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that there aren't, I feel like there is an issue where if it's done incorrectly, an open world game can be very boring.
So do you agree with Jason the Bruce who says open world development has been lazy and largely copy and paste?
I mean, you know what? I might have to save what I have to say for that to another
Well,
hot take.
can I,
but
Asia, to answer that
I'll wait
question,
my turn.
personally, I'll say yes, and here's why. Because developers started like advertising like, yo, our world is this big. It has 100 planets and this. But then you get to the planet and there's nothing to do. So it's like, what's the point of open world where it's a world that has nothing to do? I'd rather just have a area with a lot of cool stuff going on. So again, open world, I think we need to revert back to some of the, like a Devil May Cry, when you go to a level and there's stuff to do. I'd rather have that than an open world. So that's my hot take.
Is that why you like Fortnite?
Fortnite that's a different thing. No.
That's not open world?
Well,
I mean, that's more of like an online.
it's an online like.
Okay, you know what? I'm wrong. Yeah.
Like a battle royale.
You're
type
right.
Thing.
Yeah, but that's my hot take. I'm done with open world games. So, yeah, go ahead.
Look, I'll help you, bro.
Show me the good ones, please. But go ahead, Tori.
Xenoblade Chronicles X. Thank you, Nintendo.
Passing to you, Tori.
You said anime. You said
I did.
Games.
Yeah, you can do any topic.
I'll drop a movie.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, God.
What's up with Fast and the Furious? I'm sick of it. You know, all this nonsense that they driving around. What happened to the racing? You know, they out here being superheroes. They driving into space. When in the first two Fast and the Furious movies that they showed that they had all this ingenuity to take on superheroes, go into space? Listen, I always tell people, like, if you saw a realistic Fast and the Furious, that shit would be trash. They gotta stop and fix the car after every jump. They gotta stop and get gas. It's irritating. I'm done with it. I'm not even caught up on it. But the last thing I saw, didn't they fight a superhero?
No.
And then they ride through town, swinging a bank around like a wrecking ball. Like, come on, man.
That did happen.
Come on. What are we doing?
May I respond?
What
to
are
you,
we
Tori?
doing? I've seen people. My thing is, like, I've seen cars get destroyed hitting a pothole, and you mean to tell me they out here swinging bank vaults around like it's nothing? That's just stupid. I'm done with it.
May I respond to you?
Yeah,
Tori?
go ahead,
'Cause
go ahead, go ahead.
I actually am a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise, and just to clarify, when I say fan, I think they're fun movies. Now,
Popcorn flick.
Popcorn flicks. Now, Tori, I'll say this. Yes, what you're saying is true, but each one gets more ridiculous, and in all honesty, I say for me and Asia, as for watching it, that was honestly part of the fun of seeing how ridiculous they're gonna get. Because how did we go from street racing to, they're in space? And I will say, I know you hating on it, but every single one goes crazy in the box office. So I mean, people still watching them and are enjoying them, obviously. So you might be hating from outside the club. You can't
Nah,
get
they
in.
because they want to see what dumb shit they gonna do next.
What's wrong with that?
It's insane.
It's just a fun movie.
That's part of the appeal.
Yeah, you taking Fast and Furious too serious.
Don't they take it serious?
Oh, the character?
Like, here's the thing. Fast and the Furious, they version of Power of Friendship is family. That's they version. With family, you can do anything. That's all you got to say in Fast and the Furious for them to do some impossible shit. I'm doing this for family. And then all of a sudden, they over here they're driving across mountains, swinging. Come on. First of all, I knew that was some bullshit when he had a grapple hook connected to a car and it just so happened to hook on a tree and this man swung across a mountain and then it unhooked right on time for him to hit the road again. Get the fuck out. I'm done. I want to walk away after that.
The
There's
space
ain't no
scene was
way.
pretty ridiculous. I can't even lie.
There's no way. It's
Okay.
just crazy.
Asia, any comments responding to what Tori's saying?
I feel like the concept of Fast and Furious definitely got lost like after the second or third movie. But I agree, they're just fun movies to turn on. Like
It's in
my grandma likes
It's
them.
in the
They're
same
good.
category as Toy Story. We don't know what we want to do. We just gonna throw them in some shit and have them survive at
Now
the
he
end
just
of it.
Okay, see, now
you
that's-
just hating.
It's
That's
the same
incorrect.
thing.
Toy Story is well
It's the
thought
same
out.
thing.
Toy Story is well thought out. And this is somebody who was a Toy Story hater a few streams ago. I had the pleasure of sitting down and watching all 4 movies recently.
She made her
and,
YouTube apology.
And I made my YouTube apology. I was wrong. Toy Story is brilliant. So do not knock the writing of Toy Story. You'll get your wig split up in here. Toy Story is good.
You lucky I'm in my softball era
Asia,
because
You don't get your wig split.
You can't talk about the
See,
hatred
this
and
is
violence
what
of One
happens.
Piece fans and then say
this is
that
what
about Toy Story.
You see this?
I'm
You want to talk
inconsistent.
about
I
a
can't help
cult.
it.
You want to talk about a cult. I see. I would
See,
get my
Beast
next...
of Blaze is saying, and whoa, chill. Toy Story didn't even need all that hate.
Right.
Toy Story did that. What do you mean? Every time, every movie for Toy Story, they get in some crazy ass predicament, and with the power of family, they survive. Same shit.
Tori.
Same shit.
Tori, I have a hot take about Toy Story, so we'll bring that up later. But
It's
I got one for you.
But it's the same concept, though.
We're gonna hold on.
I'm curious to see
save,
what you gotta say.
save that thought for when I got to say.
All I'm
please.
saying is Dominic Toretto and Woody are the same people, and they bring everybody together with the power of family.
We'll save the rest of our Toy Story talk. 'Cause I got a hot take for you, and I want to hear your thoughts.
I got you.
So, all right. Before we move on to Joe, Asia, any comments you need to respond to?
Yes. Jason the Bruce says, I got a bit take. The original Fast and Furious was terrible. Beats of Blade says, anyone can become family too. You know what? That's true. They do be just adding anybody into the family in those movies.
Family's a little bit of an overplayed.
Same thing with Toy Story. Every movie they get a new family member.
Anubis says, the thing I dislike most about Fast and Furious is the titles. Every single movie has a different way
Appreciate
of saying
the bits.
Fast and Furious. It's never the same title, just a nitpick. That's a fair nitpick.
Yeah.
Dom riding with Optimus Prime, teaching him hours to drift for family. And then Anubis says, Toy Story 3 wasn't a cinematic masterpiece, right? Okay, who has the next hot take? Is that you, Joe?
That would be me.
All right, Joe, go off on them.
All right. In response to what Dave's hot take was, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the realm of gaming. I personally have an issue with Western game development in a certain aspect. When I look at Japanese developed games or even Korean developed games, I see artistry. I see polish. You could just tell, everything from their level design, especially to their enemy design and how their enemy designs fit in with the action and the gameplay. Even a lot of the storytelling, tropes that they go for, even some of it can get a little anime-ish, which you'll never hear us talk bad about that here. But I do see a little bit of, it's almost like when you have something that worked really well, and then you have somebody else that's trying to do that thing that worked well, but they're not really as talented to do it as well as they did it. So it just comes across half-assed. Case in point, Image Comics in the 90s, after all the big dark and gritty Watchmen's and V for Vendettas and Dark Knight Returns came out, and then Image was like, oh yeah, dark and gritty is in. Let's give the kids what they want. I'm gonna create the Ultramanator. And he's got this big ass gun that looks like a vacuum cleaner, and he says death and all this crazy stuff. What's his backstory? He was a soldier and he's got a gun that goes like shit like that.
Do you have any examples of any games Western games that are falling into that category?
I mean, I might get a little bit of flack for this one. I mean, okay, like something like Destiny, when you have like you have to fight off like hordes and shit like that, and then it's like you'll fight a boss, but all the boss is just a really big version of the things that you've already been killing. It's just got more life points. Or here's a really good one. You want to talk about bad open world games? No Man's Sky. Remember how when that game first dropped? Remember all the promises that developer made? And you don't even have to go that far. You go to a planet and after a while you're just doing the same thing. It was Minecraft in space. Let's talk about Minecraft. Yeah, there's a lot you can do in Minecraft, but at the same time, it's just like, you know.
I'm gonna push back on the Minecraft. Minecraft is like,
Okay, yeah.
Okay, maybe the other ones.
Yeah, but
I
at the
agree.
same time, and look, I'll say this too. Shit, this might even be a hot take on itself. I am personally very tired of the content warning and Lethal Company style games where it's just you and your squad get dropped off into location and you got to go and complete some certain mundane task or record something, and you got to avoid monsters and you can't really fight them, and then you come back to the base, and then did you do the thing? Yeah, okay, you can move on to do the same thing you did the previous night. It's only slightly harder this time. Did you not do it? No. Okay, well, you die. It's the same thing every time.
So, Joe, you did have Jason the Bruce and somebody else. Oh, Vince Arts agreeing with your takes over here. Also, shout out Trevor Robinson. Thank you for the follow.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Mo Magnus says Minecraft isn't just for my generation, TBH.
What up, Mo? Mo's another homie from the Jada Goddess streams and all that shit.
Hey, what's good?
You can still catch that work in Tekken while you've been ducking. Anyway.
Any other comments, Asia, before we move on to our next hot take?
Let's see.
A lot of people agree with you, Joe.
Yeah, I
That's what I'm
know.
seeing.
You got a lot of, people.
I mean, again, like how many times do you see all these like games that release day one and they're buggy and glitchy and unfinished, unpolished?
That's every game.
But then when you look at a lot of these Japanese developed games, a lot of them end up releasing in a much better state of affairs than a lot of Western games.
Especially Nintendo.
Especially Nintendo.
So
that is my hot take.
okay, that was a good one.
Okay, no, that's a good take.
All right, Asia, you got another one for us?
I do. I don't know how much of this is a hot take or if I'm just being an old head, but when it comes to, thank you, Brian, for liking the stream.
Thank you so
Appreciate you.
much.
When it comes to this new Harry Potter television show,
Oh, the reboot.
the reboot,
Oh, they're doing that?
yeah, shelve that.
Oh,
Put it up. We didn't ask for that, okay? Here's my problem. I don't even think Harry Potter is old enough to be getting a reboot. It's not even, it hadn't even been 2 decades. Like, and honestly, I'm, just in general, tired of just Hollywood rebooting anything anyway. But here's my fear. My thing is, like, not only did we not ask for this television series, but everything I've heard about it, from the casting to who's getting signed on, has not been anything good for me. It's been all terrible. And let's be frank, Americans have a habit of taking properties and ruining them. One thing I was cool with J.K. Rowling doing with the Harry Potter movie, she was strict. She's like, I want an all British cast. She says, do not add no Americans to my stuff. I wrote the books in Britain, make everybody British.
Damn, that's racist.
I was cool with it. And again, like I said, Americans have a habit of taking properties, messing them up. Did y'all love that Dragon Ball Evolution movie?
no.
Y'all love that movie, right?
No.
First
That's
of
your
all,
favorite movie, right?
Wait
Exactly, like I
a
was
minute,
saying.
the reason why that went bad because he said he's not going to use any source material. That was
Regardless, Americans can take a property and ruin it. They did it to Dragon Ball Evolution. They did it to probably other countless franchises and whatnot. And y'all about to do it to Harry Potter and ruin its name. I said it. I ain't taking it back.
Asia, what about the comments though, where let's see, Mo Magnus says, the first one came out in 2001. I think someone else said that.
Oh,
Sorry.
snap, it has been 2
Devlin
decades?
said it came out in 2001.
Well, I retract that. It has been 2 decades. Leave it alone. I don't know why they touching it, like I said.
I mean, to be fair though, isn't like the story of Harry Potter like finished?
Yeah,
It's a reboot.
It's a reboot.
he's retired.
Yeah.
They're turning into a TV show. We was good. Those movies were beautiful, minus the 6th one, because I still got issues with
I have
that,
a
but that's
question for
another
Asia.
take.
When are we allowed to get a Harry Potter reboot?
We don't. Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint did they thing. They're good. They are those characters for life. Listen, they
But
about to
shouldn't you be-
cast some scrawny little thing for Harry Potter, and it's gonna set me off.
Shouldn't you be happy that Harry Potter is now getting to live up is damn near comic book status of like, yeah, now we can retell from the perspective of another writer, artist, creative, and we can see these stories that we've grown up and we love, but from a different perspective. Take it higher with new technology.
We got people who are not even Harry Potter fans in the chat. Jason Bruce says, I'm not a Harry Potter fan at all and even think the reboot is a bad idea. It's good. It was just one of those things where it's like you have the books, then every other summer you got a movie, and that was it. It was nice. We didn't ask for a reboot. We didn't ask for no damn Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. And that's another take I got for y'all that y'all not ready for. But said what I said.
Just wipe Harry Potter off the
Yeah,
board.
like I said, y'all know how American companies can take these properties and just ruin them. I see people
Because Hollywood
Tekken,
don't take no rest.
Tekken, Mortal Kombat, was that another one?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll get to that one.
So like, yeah, sorry. I'm very passionate about that. I don't play with my Harry Potter.
I feel like you're damn near in the same position I am on a lot of stuff where I'm like, I don't need another one, but I think it comes from another place. I'm maybe not as like hot-blooded, passionate in that regard. I'm just like, when a story's done, a story's done. Did we need another one, or are you just trying to cash grab, Dragon Ball, Star Wars, just saying. Just saying.
Mo Magnus says the Tekken movie was hilarious. See,
Oh,
and
look.
I don't think it was supposed to be. Was that supposed to be a comedy?
Asia, I want you to understand.
I don't
I've
hear you
said it
laughing
before and
when
I'll
you
say
in
it
there
again.
playing.
I wrote a report in college on the Tekken movie. I was hard, but I was fair. I hated the movie that much. And I came at it from the perspective of a casual moviegoer, understanding how they might see it, and as a Tekken fan. It failed at both. And people give it a pass just because some of the costumes looked halfway correct, and of course they casted Lateef Crowder as Eddie Gordo, which that's the proper casting, but it was wasted. He had one fight scene, he barely had a line of dialogue, he had no story whatsoever. Although that's not saying much in a movie that basically had none of the story. Anyway, that's a whole separate stream there. But anyway, moving on.
David, what's your
Hot
take?
garbage.
Also, shout out to the people in the chat who are like, please don't bring up Dragon Ball Evolution. Why are you bringing up bad memories? I'm sorry.
The hurt's still there.
I had to re-traumatize y'all to make my point.
Damn it, Asia.
All right, David, go off.
Okay. My next hot take is anime related. And Tori's going to be upset. It is time to retire isekai anime. We have reincarnated everything to the point where we were reincarnating. First we were reincarnating things that made sense, swords and things like that.
Or reincarnating as like a character that would be in this world or something like that.
Exactly, but now we're reincarnated as vending machines and stuff. It's like
Did you watch it?
I'm not going to.
It was good.
Here's takeout, Tori. Here's takeout first.
No, I'm just saying overall, the genre is now milked. It's copy and paste. We know it's copy and paste. Everything is reincarnated. They have these long titles that nobody can memorize.
The long titles, man.
It's annoying. And honestly, it's just, Sword Art Online, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that, but then everything else for the next, damn near decade, just started milking it. So to me, it is time to retire isekai anime for good.
Eric Green, thank you
For
for following.
good.
I'm going to respectfully disagree.
Let's see what the chat says.
Thank
Anybody,
you, like Trevor
know.
North.
Thank you, Trevor. What's up, Fading Jack? Fading Jack is here.
Hey,
Fading Jack.
Chandika.
What up? We got a first-time chat, Ron Combs. What's up?
What's up, Ron
What's
Com?
going on,
What's
Ron?
happening?
All right, really quick, I'm gonna hit some. Uriel Santana says he met the creator of the live-action One Piece, and they may be working together.
Nice.
That is
That's
so dope.
That's dope.
Mr. Bach says, I feel bad about this part 2 of Mortal Kombat and this BS with Cole.
Continue.
All right.
Okay.
Mo Magnus says, say what you want. Raven's fight was cool. Jada Goddess says, whoa.
No.
And then Santana says, you brought up legit evolution trauma. Beats of Blade says, I reincarnated as a sword. Goes hard, though.
It was good.
But see, that sounds like it would lend itself to some action that makes sense. If you're reincarnated as a sword, especially if it's a sword that's like magic and can evolve, that would be cool. But when you're reincarnated as a vending machine,
If
and
you
your
haven't-
greatest power
if you
is
have
spitting
not-
out snacks, and then all of a
If
sudden
you
your
have
powers
not-
jump the shark into being able to do magic, and
If
I'm
you
sorry,
have not
no.
watched it, that take is not
You
valid.
lost me at the concept.
Explain
I'm
it,
gonna,
boy.
Man, I thought.
I'm
Listen,
gonna
I
use
thought
my
it was
time
gonna be
with something
trash.
else.
I thought it was gonna be trash, and then I watched it, and I was proven wrong.
I would rather watch Jinro. It's less commitment on my time, and it looks like it's right up my alley. I don't care what
It
this
may
vending
not be
machine's
up
out
your
here
alley,
doing.
but it was a good show.
Okay, but I'm
Does the
saying
vending
like,
machine even take somebody's money
He does. He does a lot of things, and it's a good show.
and then don't give them no snacks?
I don't.
Hold
If
on,
a
he
villain
gotta-
came up and put
he,
$1
kill-
in the
he
machine,
kills
would
people
it-
and all that.
We got a first-time chat here. Wild 1776 says, "What about reincarnated as Diddy Baby Oil?" See what I'm saying? It's gone too far. We suggested stuff like that, Tori. It's time to stop.
Mo Magnus
that
says,
sounds
it's
more
not my
interesting than the
favorite.
vending machine. I'm sorry. Anyway,
Mo Magnus says, it's not my favorite, but I see the appeal. Tori,
What's the deal with mecha anime?
all right. See now,
I'm tired of it. All right? You're sitting here fighting inside this monster. What about the bathrooms? What if you got to go to the bathroom? Everybody's in these one-piece unitard outfits. I'm sorry, I can't do it. All right, lunch was probably not that good. My stomach hurt. I got to go to the bathroom. Now I got to sit here and decide, am I going to keep fighting or am I going to go to the bathroom? It's stupid. Like, what's the regulation if you in the middle of battle and you inside this mecha and you got to go to the bathroom? I talked to them earlier. They said they just going to go on themselves. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Then we win the fight. We win the fight. Everybody waiting outside the mech for me to give me my congratulations. And I open up the door and it smell like West Hale. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I need them to figure out what they got going on. We got a bathroom. What we doing?
I have a question for you. So to make sure I'm understanding this, you are done watching mecha anime because you're upset that the bathroom storyline is not addressed. Why would you need that?
you don't.
We're not asking you to get in the mechs. We're saying watch the show.
I don't like mechs. It's dumb. I'm sorry. I'm over.
Wait,
over
hold
being
on. Is this about bathrooms or about mechs?
both of them.
No,
Don't. I got some shit to say about this.
It's both of them.
Can we go to the chat?
It's
Okay.
both.
Hold
of
on.
them. I'm not finished with my take.
I thought you were done.
Tell you what.
Because people have
I'm gonna
responses.
be right
We
back.
they don't got bathrooms. I'm sitting here. We got to fight inside this robot. It's destruction all around.
I just want to address that Jason Bruce says, is Tori just trolling? Devlin says, Tori, you're losing us. Fading Jack says, Tori, why are you fighting while you need to go to the bathroom? And last but not least, Beast of Blaze says, but you willing to watch an anime about a vending machine?
And a guy who stretches. Somebody said you watch anime about a guy. Who said that?
Who said, wait, where's that at?
I saw it a second ago.
Wait a minute. You talking about an anime about somebody that stretches? Picture this. You gotta go. You in the sitting in the living room.
Beats of Blade said it.
You sitting in the living room. You gotta go to the bathroom. You can stretch. That means I can stretch to the bathroom and not have to leave where I'm sitting.
Can we move away from
I'm
bathroom
just saying.
talk?
Tori, you are so goddamn lucky that I am a nice person because I was literally about to go in your room and steal that Batman statue you have of Ben Affleck and Batman v Superman. Because if you have an issue with people donning vehicles or mechs in fiction, you don't deserve that Batman statue.
Yes, I do.
Because how you gonna say, how you gonna dismiss an entire war story or galactic battle story or whatever over some nonsensical logic about bathrooms, or even putting that aside, just to say that you don't like mechs at all, and then still call yourself a Batman fan? How many times has Batman had to get into like a mech suit to fight Superman or the Justice League? or donned a vehicle, a plane.
I'm pretty sure
there's
Batman.
there's no bathroom
Batman
at the
has
bat
a bathroom
plane.
contingency.
You're just
what
making
are you
that
talking
assumption.
about?
How do you know there's not a bathroom compartment inside a Gundam? But at the end of the day, Tori,
Is it?
who cares? Because the story isn't about whether or not Hiroyuki can go to the bathroom. It's about him fighting another fucking mech.
Mechas are dumb. We're just gonna keep it at mechas are dumb.
Girl,
This goes back all the way to the Power Rangers time.
David,
you got these high
I'm taking
schoolers.
2 hot takes.
You got these high schoolers jumping inside these robots in this small town, fighting monsters, stepping on buildings, destroying property, but yet and still next week everything is back to normal.
No, I'm about to destroy you. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
There's another part. But here's the thing. They fighting the monster outside the mech. They think they killed him. Next thing you know, the monster is giant. This happens every week, but yet and still they surprised every fucking time.
You're talking about formulaic
Every
storytelling
time.
at that point.
I'm talking about, but these mechs are
You can talk about
what is the
Team Rocket blasting off again every single episode.
Death count? What is the death count when they out here stepping on buildings and exploding right next to the city every damn week?
That's any Marvel movie.
That's any damn near fictional story anyway.
This is a small town with high schoolers. Who paying for this? They ain't got that much money rolling through that town. They ain't even. Where the truancy officers at claiming these kids that ain't never in class? Nobody know they Power Rangers, but they the same 5-6 people that's leaving every damn week? What?
Wait, Tori, question. How many storylines in One Piece are about them using the bathroom on the boat?
If they just go to the bathroom.
They show
just
it?
go.
Do they show it?
They let them know they going to the bathroom.
Why are we still talking about
I guess
the
out of
bathroom?
1,000+ episodes, at some point, maybe you gotta acknowledge, does Luffy need to go to the bathroom? Nigga, I ain't trying to watch all that.
Yeah, we need to change the subject. I'm getting
I'm
getting nauseous.
This is why
You get nauseous. Oh, take a sip of your applesauce. That'll settle your stomach.
Okay, he got you on that. He got you on that one.
That's a good one.
I'm taking 2 hot takes for my turn because I need to acknowledge some shit. All right.
That's what I'm saying, Jay. Luffy meat can stretch. He's a meat stretcher.
Okay.
Ain't that what that means? I know y'all seen that meme.
No, I don't
Look
know.
at your neighbor and say he's a meat stretcher.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I don't know any neighbors like that. I don't know my neighbors on that level.
I know y'all seen that meme on Instagram.
Putting aside what keywords you use on HentaiHaven.com,
That was
my turn for my-
literally a sermon on a church meme.
I don't go to that kind of church, but I don't know where you go.
man.
That's a church One Piece. Go ahead,
Alvarez.
Joe.
That's an OVO church.
Go ahead, Joe.
It's funny because his take reminds me of a statement from Grant Morrison when he talks about how kids can separate reality from fiction, but adults can't. Because you show a kid like The Little Mermaid, they don't think that there's actually talking crabs in the ocean. But the minute you talk to an adult about Superman, it's like, why does he fly that way? When does Batman use the bathroom when he's in the bat plane? These characters are fucking imaginary pixel people. They're not real. Just enjoy the story, bro. Damn. Anyway, hot take number 1. I hate One Piece just because of him. And you see you've seen his character tonight.
You hate it because of you.
Because of you.
Don't use me.
This is on you.
Don't use me as a scapegoat because
I would have been willing to give it
got
another
150 different animes you have not watched.
And I'll still watch them over.
You
watching
still
One
ain't
Piece.
started them. You've been saying the same thing for 3-5 years.
I started Kaiju number 8.
What episode you on?
2.
Anyways,
I started it. Anyway,
it's not.
hot take
One
number
Piece
2.
is not the reason.
All right, hot take number 2. This is an anime one. To anybody that says that Dragon Ball does not have a story or does not know how to tell a compelling story with characters, maybe even one particular person in this room, but I'm not going to name no names, you are full of shit. You are wrong. You are incorrect. You are making factual inaccuracies. I'm not saying Dragon Ball storytelling is flawless. Hell no. I'm not even saying it's the best. I'm not even saying it's my top favorite. But if there is anything that I can say is that Dragon Ball did know how to have some moments. They held their weight when it came down to it. There are still scenes in Dragon Ball that make me cry like a bitch to this day. You got to earn that for me. That's something that a Yakuza game will get out of me. But coming from Dragon Ball, you had to earn that shit. any scene where Vegeta is dying, whether it be the first time or especially the second time.
That man's dying in every fight.
When Goku was fighting Frieza and he was out of power and he'd been using the Kaioken the whole time and he was barely able to keep up with him, and Frieza was like at 50% of his power when Goku could barely handle 1%, but he still got up and fought, used the 20 times 20 Kaioken Kamehameha wave when he knew that he had no shot. Even though it didn't work, that was some emotional shit. And after he drained all of his power to use the Spirit Bomb, they thought they killed Frieza, but Frieza was still alive and killed Krillin, and Goku made the biggest comeback and turned Super Saiyan and got all of his power back. That shit make me cry like a bitch. The father-son Kamehameha wave against Cell with the Kamehameha wave, there was he trying to destroy the Earth, and then all of his buddies stepped in even though they knew they couldn't do it, and they tried it anyway. And Vegeta swallowed his pride and avenged his son and landed a critical shot against Cell to let Gohan do it. That was some powerful shit. And with the Faulkner music on top of all that, oh, hands down, OG Dragon Ball. No matter how bad the pacing, fucking the Super Saiyan 3 transformation. David, do not tell me you was not crying like a bitch when Goku was screaming for 2 episodes until he finally turned into the most useless transformation out of all of Dragon Ball.
Well, I have a question, Joe. Are there a lot of people that say that Dragon Ball has no story?
There's some. There's enough. There's
Okay.
enough that justifies the conversation.
Got
and
it.
again, if you're saying that Dragon Ball is not the greatest anime out there, totally agree. It's definitely got its issues, definitely when it comes to pacing. They blew up the moon twice.
Yeah.
Twice. But to say that Dragon Ball has no emotional impact or story, I don't buy that from anybody. That's my other hot take.
That's fair. That's a W take for me.
And you know, I seem to have a lot of those.
Sometimes. Asia, can you check the chat for us? What we
I-
got?
I've
We got,
been-
probably got a lot.
I've been like watching. It's moving so fast now. Darn. Somebody
the
said something
top.
I want to address.
I see Mo Magnus said,
It's going so fast. Okay, Uriel Santana says Dragon Ball is mid AF, most overrated anime of all time. And from what I just heard, you haven't even seen that many. Respectfully, of course.
Oh. Go ahead.
Keep reading?
Please.
Okay.
you can, yeah.
Beats of Blades. Mo Magnus says OG Dragon Ball had moments too. Beats of Blades, they disrespected
definitely.
the end, though, by making Krillin the strongest human, though. Mr. Bogg says these Batman animated got stopped fighting Yakuza. SMH. Vince Art says, nah, it's not flawless, but Dragon Ball is my favorite. However, I'm scared of how strong they are becoming and where it's heading. Super, I mean.
No, yeah. Look, I don't even mess with Super like that. They pretty much lost me. I like the Mastered Ultra Instinct versus Jiren fight. I thought that was pretty cool. Other than that, I don't really care. I think all the transformations are just lazy ass recolors. I don't give a shit. Yep, go for it.
My hot take is, oh my gosh, y'all gonna know that I don't read the comics, so just go at me.
Say your piece.
Marvel peaked with Thanos. There is not another villain that is going to ever be better than Thanos. Marvel peaked, and that's why it's been kind of failing since Endgame. Respectfully, y'all picked a villain that was too good. You picked a villain who said what he was going to do, did that stuff, made it happen for 5 years, and then the universe is still dealing with the after effects of it. How do you get worse than that? You peaked, and that's why y'all doing these desperate straw grabs and bringing back Robert Downey Jr. because y'all know there's not gonna be nothing else to bring us to those theaters.
Damn, you sound like me right now. Goddamn.
They peaked with their villain, and I'm gonna say this: Kang the Conqueror. That I'm glad he's gone. I said it. I'm glad he's gone because you know why? Nothing really freaks me out about the fact that all he could do was destroy galaxies. Like, I don't care. And you know what else I don't care about? I don't care about 10 different versions of Loki. I don't care about alligator Loki. I don't care about girl Loki. I like Loki, okay? That's it. I said what I said. So, again, Marvel, you peaked with your villain. I'm not done. Marvel, you peaked with your villain. And that's why you're struggling right now. And listen, I get it. You went hard and y'all hit it 10 out of 10. No notes. Y'all did that. But now it's over, and I wish I would have picked, worked y'all way up to a strong villain.
That take was mid.
Nope, I said it.
Because Kang is way worse than Thanos.
What about Galactus?
If Kang is worse than Thanos, where you at?
Well,
I mean, legal reasons.
Okay, so tell me about this new villain.
can't out-
Is he
but-
worse than Thanos?
but also-
Because Thanos said, I'm going to snap and make everybody disappear. And they disappeared.
Doctor Doom? Doctor Doom killed Thanos in the comic books. But I need you to bone up on them comic books. So you can just like you boning up on Harry Potter, because
What is boning up?
get your knowledge.
You and this questionable terminology.
Yeah, that's a
Anyway,
One Piece term. I ain't never heard that one.
How have y'all? That's old as time. What are you talking about?
Okay, now to Agent, to be fair, I mean, I feel like because I largely agree with you in that Thanos is a pretty big thing. Okay, he's the Marvel equivalent of Darkseid.
I'd say
and
that.
No, I did not say that backwards. MCU stands. Thanos is the Marvel equivalent of Darkseid because he came first, and Thanos was created to be Marvel's Darkseid.
Okay.
Don't at me about that shit. But it is like, how do you top a like universal level
Better.
threat
Let's say what we got, what we
versus
got.
like
Shakaroni has gifted a 1-tier sub.
Appreciate the gifted
Shaq.
sub.
appreciated Shakaroni?
But yeah, Doctor. Doom.
Yeah. But I mean, I still feel like if done correctly, there are some that could follow up. I'm sure, I mean, I'm not the biggest, like, I'm not as up to speed on like Kang the Conqueror or whatever. I'm sure if he was introduced properly, you could have sold him on it. If they had introduced Galactus sooner, that probably could have been your next big bad. But like, even for like every post-Endgame Marvel movie that I did watch, all your post-credit scenes and everything was just building up to just random shit. Do y'all remember the post-credit scene to Eternals? There was the part where it had the dude
Oh, with Harry Styles at the end?
with the Thanos' brother.
Was
and
that
then
him?
the other
There was
dude
two
was
after
voiced by
credits.
Patton Oswalt.
One of them was Harry Styles,
and then
right?
it showed the dude with a sword, and it's like, what is this
That-
building up to exactly?
So that the dude with the sword, that was, I don't know if you paid attention, that was supposed to get you ready for the blade.
Jada Goddess says, I heard
Because
it was
right before,
cheap.
because the
what
the
does
dude,
that have to do with building up to whatever the next actual?
that's literally
threat
Blade.
is?
Blade, because I forgot the dude, the vampire dude, the main vampire dude who pretty much
Morbus?
not Morbus is chicken feed compared to it was not, it might be Dracula or whatever, but the sword that was there, the dude who was about to touch it, he is one of his ancestors is one of the great vampires like Dracula, like one of his is in his bloodline. And right before he got ready, because if he had touched that sword, the soul of what's the name would have entered his body. And right before he touched it, that's when you heard Marshall Ali's voice telling him, "I wouldn't do that because that he was
Do
going to take
you
him out."
hear how
right then and there."
incoherent this is? Like, how are you? Like, again, I'm asking, who is your follow-up to Thanos? When you watch like
Thanos is not the big bad.
when you watch the end of like Guardians of the
movies get no
Galaxy
more.
or something,
Do
and then
y'all
you see
know
Thanos-
anything about the Marvel comic books?
Bro, what again? I'm asking like, what is the actual direction that this is leading to? At one point, it's about the multiverse. The next point, it's about the Celestials. The next point, it's about Kang. The next point, it's about Galactus and this shit. Like, bro,
So y'all
in the next minute, it's
y'all
about Doctor
taking the
Doom.
legal issues they had and intertwining that into the timeline.
I'm not even just talking about the legal issues. I'm like, just pick a direction and stick with
Kang
it.
was supposed to be the big bad because he's a badass in the comic books. Now that that's over, they're bringing Doom. Doom is the real big bad. He's beaten Thanos' ass here and there multiple times in the comic books. Sorry to tell you that, but it's been happening. Then he's even taken.
It happened in the movie, so that means
It's
it didn't
happened.
happen.
It's about to happen.
The average Marvel movie watcher, in the mainstream,
How
has
many-
never read the comics.
How many of
Tori.
y'all knew about
Stop
that?
acting like we
How
didn't read
many
the comics.
how many of y'all knew about Thanos before you seen him in the movie?
Tori, we didn't. That's the point.
That's why they bring in Dr. Doom. What
But
do
the
you
movies
mean?
have got to introduce
You about
this
to
stuff.
see him in the movie, so you saying just because you haven't seen him in the movie, he's not this. But
No.
they are big.
All right, hold on,
Girl,
hold
you're
on.
acting like we need to read the comics to watch the movies. I don't like being told I need to do homework before I go to a movie.
Hold on,
I
Asia.
go watch the
Hold on.
movie.
So if you watch
I
the
got this.
movie when
Hold
it
on.
comes out, we won't even need to have this conversation.
Agent, hold up, I got this one. Tori, let me ask you this. Between Kang the Conqueror and Thanos, who was introduced better? Who had better setup to actually get you hyped for
Kang.
the
And be honest,
Kang.
you are a liar.
You a damn liar.
You are such a liar. You know that's
Kang.
not true. Kang did not.
Which
Tori.
introduction to Thanos did you pay attention to?
Was it the fine?
I'll do it myself.
Or even like
That
the,
was
the
another.
scene at
First
the end
of all,
of it.
that
I
was
literally am speechless.
First of all, that was horrible because let me tell you why. He said, "Fine, I'll do it myself." This man grabbed the gauntlet. The gauntlet. He didn't even have the gauntlet yet. He got it later. That was at first, and that was like a deep purple Thanos, a different actor. Then they brought him back, and then he got the. How do you get the gauntlet
You're just
and then get the
nitpicking.
gauntlet? I'm not.
You're literally just nitpicking. It was a post-credit scene to introduce the fact that this was about to be the villain. Okay, so what? He was deep purple. So what if he had the gauntlet already? They showed us how he got to those
And
things.
can I
Even
say one
before
more
that,
thing?
in
Go ahead.
Avengers, like when he just all he had to do was he had that menacing turn, like that was cooler. Than,
Yes,
yeah.
and also Thanos. Here's the truth: Thanos was introduced in good movies. Let's be honest. Quantumania is a mid at best Marvel movie, maybe trash.
They had a whole lineup of Thanos.
But when he was
Kang
introduced,
was supposed to appear in multiple movies.
but when he was introduced into Quantumania, that is not a good
But
Marvel
he was
movie.
supposed to be introduced in multiple movies. You give him 5 movies to appear in, and then after the first one, some shit happened and he ain't in there. So then you discredit everything that was supposed to happen.
It's not even just that. It's
That's
even,
what y'all doing
No.
though. Y'all saying, well, Thanos appeared in this, and this, and this. Well, Kang was supposed to be in this,
No,
and this,
one more
but it
thing.
didn't happen. That's just like the same thing with Batman and Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck's Batman was trash, but he was supposed to have this, and this movies that he was supposed to do, but it didn't happen. So y'all discredit what you did see in it.
No,
Here's
can
another-
I?
hold on. Here's
Go
another
ahead.
couple points, real quick. One, get your go-go squeeze before that goes bad.
Yeah, sorry.
You might want to slurp that up real quick.
I am,
You need them 70 calories. Anyway, here's the other thing too, and I'll say this: the whole Jonathan Majors like Kang the Conqueror design overall compared to Thanos, trash. Thanos actually looked like they put a budget behind that shit. Yeah, it was like CG, but you could tell like there's physics, there's lighting, there's shading, textures. All that was like really good quality. And I think it was the same production studio that did the effects for like Zack Snyder's Justice League and all those movies. So top-notch shit. But the Kang the Conqueror design just did not look good. It looked worse than the X-Men Age of Apocalypse design for
Well, you
Apocalypse.
talking about the space mask he had on?
Overall, it just looked bad.
Like the outfit was dope.
And even on top of that, I'll go as far as to say
it the
this.
face? Is it the face with the light digital on it?
And I'll even say
the
this
only
too.
issue.
Jonathan Majors, he did not look like a villain to me.
He looked like Kang. What was he supposed to look like? Like, have you seen Kang in the comic books? This man had a blue face.
No, I'm not even talking about just like that, but at the same time, like I said, when you pick your actor, does he actually look like he can pull off menacing?
I mean, he did.
It's the same thing that some people are saying about, what's his name? The dude that's playing Lex Luthor now. What's his name again?
Jonathan Majors did a great Kang. Like, it was.
We do got to move on. Sorry, we have a lot of hot takes to get to. We're on this one for a little long, so I got to cut us off here.
All right, that's cool.
And move on to our next one. Asia, can you check the chat for us?
That's what I'm saying.
Mo Magnus says Kang was the best thing about the Ant-Man movie.
That's not saying much.
Mo Magnus says movies are pretty different from the comics. I like the Kang design. I want to respond to this one. Euro says, don't watch the movies and stop watching comic movies if you aren't really willing to read the source material. Let me tell y'all something. For all of y'all who are saying that we must read the comics to watch the movies, ain't they like 50, 111 comics for like, there's thousands of them, right?
At least, I mean, but even
The
if there are,
expectation for me to read 1,000 comics
you
before
don't
I
have
watch
to read-
one
you don't-
Iron Man movie.
You don't have to read 1,000.
It's
Just at
outrageous.
least you can at least just read one, so you're familiar with what's in front of you.
I got a hot take for this.
That's just like saying I'm not telling you to read.
So are you saying before I watch any movie, any type of movie, I need to read the source material?
I'm not
I
saying
have to read the book before I watch movies. That's the new rule of watching comic book movies now.
Let me ask you this: Would you listen to somebody who wants to preach to you about Harry Potter that's only seen the movies or read the books? Which one?
All I'm saying.
Which one is it?
Hold on. So no. And listen, I see what you're trying to do to me here, but my argument has always been Marvel peaked with Thanos, how they brought him in, how he ended up being the greatest villain, and they have not given us enough of a reason to care about the next villain. They have not given us a compelling enough villain.
But what
They
I'm saying is, if I'm trying to preach to you about this product in front of me,
I like
are you going to take
that word preach, but continue.
Are you going to take the advice of somebody who's only seen the movies or somebody who's read the book? Which one are you going to get?
Don't worry.
Which one?
got you.
I'm just saying. Which one are you going to? Which one do you want to hear? Do you want to get all your information from somebody who's read the books or somebody who's just seen the movies?
I prefer to have conversations about Harry Potter with people who've read the Harry Potter books. But I won't stay on this for too long.
Yeah, but Asia, don't worry. I got you, though.
All right. Listen, y'all, if I don't understand this whole, you must read the comics, but okay.
No, I got you on that.
Any other comments? I'm trying to keep up.
There's a conversation going on about JJK being trash in
Yes.
the chat.
Let's talk about that.
You're up next?
I'm up next, but I can real quick as far as JJK being trash. For me personally, I won't say it's trash, but it's not like in my top. It's a good action shonen anime, but it's not like any.
Peak.
Yeah, I mean, it has incredible animation.
Yeah.
But the story is not anything incredible. That's my thoughts on JJK.
I only like the movie. I haven't really cared for the show.
Okay, so my hot take, I'm going to switch. I know we were on anime and Asia, we had Harry Potter stuff. So my hot take is about Toy Story. I know we talk about it a lot on here.
Real curious about this one.
But my hot take is Toy Story is the best Disney animated movie franchise they've ever done.
Period.
And that is a fact, and I can prove it to you guys. There is no better Disney animated movie franchise than Toy Story that Disney has produced ever.
What about The Lion King?
I got you. I'm glad you brought that up, Joe, because you love The Lion King, right?
I mean, I'm not going to say I
Okay. People do.
I like the first one.
Got it. Oh.
As a kid.
And I
guess.
appreciate you saying that. That's my whole point is Lion King 1 is great.
I got to do it, bro.
Lion King 1 is great. But do we talk about Lion King 2? Do we talk about Lion King 1.5?
No.
It's never mentioned. No songs get sung, nothing. When we think about Lion King, we think about Lion King 1. After that, the sequels fall off. Versus Toy Story actually they went 3 for 3. And then to be honest, they made a fourth one they didn't have to, and that one was still actually pretty good. So I'm gonna say 3 for 3, because the fourth one I'm not gonna give it the same status, but again, there's no Disney franchise that went 3 for 3.
Now, hold on, bro. There's a very important topic that needs to be brought up. What kind of grown man is out here watching Toy Story? You should be like Andy right now. You should be leaving them toys in the dumpster.
That's what I'm saying. They should
Not the dumpster.
They should have died in the fire.
You know what?
Okay,
you
so
just have hate in your heart. And you know what?
This is that One Piece fan. shit.
Yeah,
I'm
that's that
telling
One
you.
Piece in you coming out.
So, but listen, I mean, here's my main point of why I'm saying this. We can name other good Disney movies, like Mulan. We can name Mulan, Hunchback of Notre Dame, the original Goofy movie, et cetera, et cetera. But do we also remember that every single movie I just named also has a sequel and sometimes a third movie? We don't talk about Mulan 2. We don't talk about Pocahontas 2. We don't talk about Hunchback of Notre Dame 2. And we don't talk about Goofy movie 2
Goofy
either.
movie. I talk about Goofy.
Okay,
movie 2
you
because
do,
It was good.
but
the reason why they don't talk about Mulan 2 is because of the racial undertones and all of that they had to get rid of.
Wait, are you talking about the live action?
Live action.
No.
No, we're talking about sequels.
See, that's what I'm saying. And you prove
But the sequel, they wasn't doing all that stuff either in the sequel either.
It doesn't matter either way, the movie wasn't good. So Toy Story is the only Disney franchise that went 3 for 3. Every other one, I bet y'all didn't even know Hunchback had a sequel.
But here's the thing.
Tarzan 2? We don't talk about Tarzan 2.
I didn't even like the first one.
First what?
Hunchback.
I mean, here's my thing. I'm not even that big of a Disney or even honestly like a Pixar movie stan at this point in my life. You know, I'm a grown man, so I'm sorry. I have other things to watch. But my thing is like I would almost rather have a one good Monsters Inc. or Mulan versus going back and watching more Toy Stories. That mostly just comes down to my own personal preference, but that's just how I feel about it. I get your point about it being a much more consistent franchise.
Yeah.
But those first ones, those other firsts just hit harder for me.
But if we're judging the franchise overall.
But again, if we're talking about like bad sequels, you understand how common bad sequels are just period? It's not easy.
and that's the point.
And that's my point. That's
And
why
again, I get it.
That's why we need to celebrate when someone goes 3 for 3 because it's so hard to do.
So when you have something that's, again, this is just from my own personal preference, you have a movie that's all right, and then you have a sequel that's on the same level, you know, all right, and then you have another one that's all right. That's good. That's consistency. But then I would rather have one that's dope, and then even if the sequel sucks.
But the thing you're forgetting is that's your opinion of Toy Story. Toy
Yes.
Story, everyone They've won awards, box office, check Rotten Tomatoes, fans and critics. Every single movie, including the fourth one, is like 93, 94,
But when you think
95.
about it this way, though, too, where it's like, let's say you have a movie like The Princess Frog or some shit. I don't know. Now, ask yourself, when they made The Princess Frog, were they intending to make it a franchise? Were they intending to make a sequel? Or was the sequel just like, oh, this movie did really well. Let's make another one because the stupid kids will buy it.
They were supposed
And then
to
it's
have
like, well, what are we going to do
No,
now?
but
'Cause
remember-
the princess already turned away from being a frog or whatever the fuck happens in the movie.
They were supposed to have a TV show, but then they recently canceled it, and they said it's not happening at all anymore.
But Joe, what I said, I didn't say single best movie. I said the
I know,
best
yeah,
franchise.
franchise,
Which I
yeah,
think
I
if
get
we're, I mean, I think it's a fact. I don't think we can name another franchise. There might be better movies that are better than Toy Story individually or whatever, but we're talking about franchise that's over a period of time. The consistency of Toy Story needs to be cemented and celebrated. So that's all. That's my hot take. It's the best Disney franchise. That's honestly a fact. It's honestly indisputable. Because we talk about Lion King, 1.5 and 2.
Asia, you still got that go-go squeeze.
Oh
I
my God.
might need
Let's do the
some
next hot
energy
take.
to make my
Tori,
point.
Tori, I'll let you go next. Go ahead.
I might get some flack for this.
Oh, we know you are. Go ahead, bro.
But I feel like Beyonce fans, they're a little bit more violent than they like to lead on. You know, it's always either you like Beyonce or you shut the fuck up. And if you have anything negative to say about Beyonce, we will dox you, fight you, expose you, and we will publish everything about you. You will say nothing about you will say nothing bad about Beyonce on Beyonce's internet is what they say. And it's crazy that cult mentality has led to the delusion, the delulu of thinking the internet belongs to Beyonce, which is crazy. You know, the fact that they have a whole cult following called the Beehive. And you know what happens when anybody tries to get close to the queen, the worker bees will attack. You know what I'm saying? So like I feel like it's not talked about enough. You know, and it's crazy that they even go to winning awards. You know, if you win an award and you don't thank Beyonce, then you're destined for bad luck. I mean, pardon me if I'm wrong. If these aren't factual things that are being said, you know, any success that you have to pay homage to Beyonce. The queen is what they call it. The queen bee or bay or whatever they want to call her these days. You know, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, but you know, let One Piece. You know, I don't. There isn't anything for One Piece there's no One Piece hive or anything like that. There's no Queen Luffy. We don't have that. We don't have people saying, "Hey, get off of Luffy's internet, talking this, that, and the third." We don't have that. But let it be Beyonce. Beyonce is the alpha, the omega, and all of the above. But hey, I'm just a
All right, look
nobody
here.
out
These
here.
are some extraordinary claims here. Now, David, you as an outside party, but you also as a music fan who frequents the subreddits and all that, you know, or just frequents the internet in general. What has been your experience with Beyonce fans?
No, I will be unbiased and honest.
Okay.
There is some truth to what Tori is saying as far as Beehive are some of the most...
Don't Dave. Don't even have to look.
Hold up, let him
look
respond.
At me.
Let him
No, no.
respond.
Look at me.
Beyonce
Look at me,
fans are some of the most intense about her. Like, they are, like, I mean, everybody knows you say anything bad about Beyonce, they will come at you. They can, this is this. If you're a news reporter and you report something bad about Beyonce and it's untrue, they are coming for you.
Fired.
Okay, but
Fired.
I will say that I can't say they're like the worst fan base because I've not seen any of this. When you brought up death threats and
Yes.
doxing,
I've had that. I was.
You probably
was
deserved it.
No, here's the thing. I said
Not the victim thing, but you be literally asking for it at this point because you keep bringing this shit up out of nowhere.
All I said was there were more people that were better singers than Beyonce, and I got death threats I got I had if looks could kill, I'd be 6 feet under.
Respectfully, Tori, this is all I'm going to say to interrupt you. When you make a statement
not finished.
like SZA is a
not.
better vocalist,
I'm not
singer than
finished.
Beyonce, you kind of deserve some of that. Because what? Because they're not. SZA's not even trying to sing like Beyonce, and you're saying she's a better vocalist than her.
See,
That's all I have to say.
Kelly Rowland. I like Kelly Rowland singing better than Beyonce.
That's fair. Kelly Rowland is very strong.
Can I go to the chat real quick before we move on? Okay, so Mr. Boggs, and I'm sorry, there's a lot of comments here. We're going to try to get as much as we can. Mr. Boggs says
she
has
over there. You good?
I'm good.
she has that look like she wants to choke. She has that look like she wants to choke the hell out of him. Mr. Boggs said that. Fired on the day off and says, "Woosah, soft girl era." If you guys just chimed into the chat, we're doing hot takes.
I love that you're keeping up with the lore, by the way.
And Tori has basically denounced all Beehive fans.
Can I
Beyonce
respond?
fans. Yes.
Can I respond?
Asia, go ahead.
I'm not even a member of the Beehive. I am a Beyonce fan, but I will say this. Her fans are nothing compared to Nicki Minaj's Barb's fans. You said that Beyonce fans are violent and blah, blah, blah. Whatever you were saying, whatever BS that you were spewing from that hole in your face.
It was truth.
Whatever you were saying.
It was truth. And I could tell it was truth because you were over here shaking. You were shaking.
Tori,
you were
Nicki
shaking
Minaj's
like a
fans
dog in
literally
negative
went
degree
to
weather.
Nicki Minaj's fans literally went to Megan Thee Stallion's mother's grave and vandalized it to the point I'm pretty sure Megan had to move her whole mother's body. So like, say what you want about the Beehive, but we have never done anything that remotely outlandish. I think the worst thing we ever did was when we found out who Becky with the good hair was. I'm not saying we because I'm a part of it, but the worst thing the Beehive ever did, Freudian slip, the worst thing the Beehive has ever done is when they found out who Becky with the good hair was, they went to the wrong person and started leaving B's under her name. The person was Rachel Roy, but the Beehive thought it said Rachel Ray, and they were harassing her, the lady who
The wrong person.
The wrong TV person.
So
anyway,
what y'all do was y'all act without thinking. That's what y'all was doing. Y'all wasn't looking to
how is that
solidify.
How is that in comparison to what the Barbs did to Megan Thee
We're not
Stallion's
talking
mother?
about the Barbs.
But
We're
I'm just saying,
talking-
you're saying that they're the worst fan base. I just presented you with evidence that they are not.
Again,
respond.
Asia, we know what this is, though. Let's be real.
You see how when I put logic and facts into play, Tori tried to tap dance around it?
I'm not talking about
Y'all see it.
Beehives. Look, just because the Beehives haven't vandalized any graves, it's probably not the worst thing that they've done. Because I'm pretty sure
I literally just told you the worst thing they've ever done.
Beehives have attacked people. I mean, there's a difference
Present
between attacking
evidence.
a dead person, attacking somebody that's alive.
So Beyonce fans are worse for the Rachel Ray thing versus Nicki Minaj's fans?
So what would you rather? Would you rather somebody hit you?
No, you said it was the worst fan base. Is she still the worst fan base that I presented you with that evidence?
Yes.
All right.
Delusional.
We gotta,
It's not
I want to be
delusional.
I want to be Delulu like you.
Here's the
I
thing.
really
We gotta-
do.
we
I
gotta-
wanna
we
know
gotta
what it's like
move
to live
on,
like
y'all.
you.
This is what I'm saying.
We gotta move on,
it's
though.
like
Stop
you can
talking to me.
attack somebody that's dead or attack
Stop
somebody
talking
that's
to
Hold
me.
on, Tori,
alive.
we got to move on.
Okay, we got to move on. Sorry, we're on this topic way too long.
Stop talking to me.
Okay, Joe, what is your next hot take?
All right.
Oh, man.
To piggyback off of Asia's from earlier, I'll say this. This is coming from the perspective of a movie fan, of a comic book fan, of a comic book movie fan. If you have to defend a comic book movie by saying, go read the comics, your argument is invalid. Because at the end of the day, the movie should be able to stand on its own. And you should not have to use the comics as a direct source to make sense out of your movie. The reason being because, and even if it's a one-to-one adaptation, you still shouldn't have to say that because the comic and the movie are on two separate continuities. I'm going to say it again louder for the people in the back. The movie and the comics are in two separate continuities. There's different continuities within the comics themselves. You don't know the difference between a mainline DC universe, a mainline DC universe post New 52, a mainline DC universe post Rebirth, and then post the Absolute editions, and then you got Earth 1, then you got the All-Star lineup that went nowhere. That's just comics alone. That's just trying to keep all that together that most general audiences can't do. This is why your comics don't sell more than like maybe a couple 100,000 copies like a month. And then you got your movies, which are completely separate from that altogether. So The movie has to be able to stand on its own and explain in its own universe, set it up for the audience. Who is this character? What is their backstory? What other characters are involved? You can't rely on the comics to say, well, that's just, you have to read issue 27 of Green Lantern. No, you shouldn't have to do that. And look, I'll say this as a Snyder fan too, because if I'm watching, say, Zack Snyder's Justice League, I can explain in depth what the anti-life equation is, but I can also recognize from the perspective of a casual moviegoer, okay, it's obviously something important and they're setting up for stuff later on. That's what the movie is establishing. That's what's going on right there. But I do not necessarily have to explain. It's like the mathematical proof that Darkseid's philosophy is correct. Read Final Crisis, read Death of the New Gods, read Jack Kirby's New Gods. I shouldn't have to do all that. Just let the movie stand on its own. If it succeeds or fails, it'll do that on its own. You do not have to read the comics.
Asia, there's some comments in the chat related to what Joe's saying. Do you mind checking
Bo
those out?
Magnus says, what if it references the comic book, though?
But again, you can make a reference to a comic. You can even pull from the source material as inspiration. But at the end of the day, the comics and the movies are on two separate timelines. They're in two separate universes. It doesn't compute. You can watch Batman v Superman and try to bring Death of Superman into your argument. You can try to bring Dark Knight Returns into your argument or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's not a one-to-one adaptation of those comics. They're not in the same continuity of the comics. The movie stands on its own. How well does it do on its own? If you've never read this stuff before, if you've never heard of who Batman is before, how well does the movie introduce you to the concept of Batman? That's the point.
Jada Goddess says, I don't know if I agree with that. If you're interested in the story, which is what the movie is made of, why not read it and watch it?
You can, if you want to, but again, you can't hold the movie to the standard of the comic and try to justify the continuity of the comic to try to make sense out of the continuity of the movie. It doesn't add up. There's even times where a movie will do a movie thing and they'll okay, case in point, in this new Superman movie that's coming out, there's rumored to be a character called Ultraman. But the Ultraman in the movie is nothing like the Ultraman in the comics, because in the comics, he's an evil Superman from Earth 3, the antimatter universe. Pretty sure that's not what they're doing in this movie. It's just like an evil Superman clone created by Lex Luthor.
I have a question too. I mean,
Go for it.
To add to my knowledge, and again, I'm not the biggest comic book reader.
Right.
But
A lot of people aren't.
to my knowledge, though, I mean, even with the MCU, which is very successful,
Yeah.
they took tons of liberties. It is not a one-to-one of most comics. I've actually read the synopsis of Civil War. The movie is totally different. I mean,
Totally
even Thanos' main motivation is totally different. So to me, this whole you got to read the comics thing is hard for me to kind of a tough pill to swallow for me, because it seems like the movies don't even follow them anyway. It seems loosely based, and they just make their own decisions with a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And even if you're doing something that is a one-to-one adaptation of a famous comic storyline, there's still going to be differences, because that's the nature of adaptation. So even then, sometimes you even got to let go of your arguments of, oh man, All-Star Superman animated movie, they cut out that whole segment on the Bizarro planet, which they did, and I was very sad about it. But for the sake of like a hour and some change movie, you got to keep things moving.
Yeah.
In the Final Crisis novelization of one of my favorite Justice League stories, they did an audiobook and a book for it. They cut out like the whole Superman Beyond, where he goes to another universe and he fights Mandrak, who's like set up to be a big bad, bigger than Darkseid.
Real quick, Joe, we got first time chat. I want to shout it
go
out.
for it.
Julian, NLF. That's the bro. What's up?
Hey.
Glad
Yeah.
you made it.
What's
yep,
up?
yep.
Thanks for popping in.
We got to get you in a interview at DreamCon.
Hey, there we
Yeah.
go.
What's up?
But yeah, they cut out a part from the Final Crisis comic series, and then they didn't put it in the novelization, but they did it specifically to keep things moving and keep things more concise. So if you're going to change things, make changes that make sense. But if you don't, then you got problems.
That's fair.
Okay.
Okay.
Asia,
Can I
any
do
other-
a hot take from the audience?
No,
Yeah.
go for it.
So Ron Combs had a hot take. They said Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, JoJo, and Dragon Ball Z are the most annoying toxic fan base.
Interesting. You know who's not on that.
Yeah, Tori, I didn't give a damn.
Okay, so the My Hero fan base, I've seen some questionable things. Yeah, they deserve that. That's kind of a fair take
Okay.
with some of those anime.
I'm new to Demon Slayer, so I don't think I'm deep in there enough to know that the fan base is toxic.
I can agree with that.
With Demon Slayer?
No, that last comment.
Mo Magna says One Piece trumps them all. Okay.
Of course, you agree with that. All right, Asia, do you have another
but
hot take for
newsflash.
us?
Water is wet, by the way.
We got another first-time chat. Cage2478, what's up? Appreciate you coming
Yes.
through.
Thanks,
Hey,
Papa.
they said MHA, yeah, toxic AF.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody also said the MHA fan base is weird. They so nasty.
They are. No, they are.
You know what? I think I've seen some stuff
Yeah.
that,
Now, Dave,
yeah.
let me ask you this question, though. Who was worse, the MHA fan base or Sonic fans back in the day?
Sonic fans are worse.
Oh.
Yeah.
They were on some weird shit.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, again, if you're just getting here, we're doing hot takes. We're reading ours and talking about it. But if you guys have your own hot take, put it in the chat, and Asia will eventually get to it. So if you have any hot takes, anime, gaming, movies, comics, whatever, let us know. Asia, what's your next one?
I have another Harry Potter hot take. Sorry, I came ready for this
Oh,
because.
no, show them the fit, though. You know?
Oh yeah, I got the Slytherin pants, the Slytherin scarf, hat, Hogwarts alumni. We representing
Yeah, but your socks are
Harry Potter.
Ravenclaw.
Harry Potter still, not
No,
Ravenclaw, because
I'll
Ravenclaw
stay
is blue and yellow. Y'all tried me. And then I saw Chandika earlier say that Chandika and their daughter, they are in Slytherin house too. So that's pretty dope. So
Is that concerning that there's so many Slytherins out here?
Slytherin
And that's coming
is
from
goated.
somebody who's probably in Slytherin as well. So believe me, I know. But
Slytherin is goated. What you talking about? Okay, so my Harry Potter hot take is this. Dumbledore was Harry Potter's first op. He really was. Y'all think it's Voldemort, but it really was Dumbledore. Dumbledore is the worst. The whole telling Harry everything he needed to know on a need-to-know basis was diabolical and toxic, and y'all know it. Because no, I don't believe in this whole adults telling, you'll know as you need to know, you're a child, stay in a child's place. No, if I am marked for death, and eventually the only way to defeat another person is for me to die, I have the right to know that when I'm 11.
Let me ask you this: wasn't Voldemort keeping tabs on Harry the whole? What didn't he know what Harry was doing? Because Harry wasn't Harry a Horcrux himself?
Tori, listen, Dumbledore is wrong. He's not right, and y'all know it.
That's just like
Let me finish my take.
I can't. I know you. I know your phones are tapped, so I can't tell you everything I want you to.
Voldemort had no way of knowing that information.
But
he
what
was
if he did know?
He did it. I read the books. Don't argue with me. No, he didn't.
Now we're doing what if stories. Hold on.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
I'm
See, and this
just
is why I
saying.
can't have a soft girl era.
I'm just
Shut up. Let me
saying
finish my take.
Because
Hold on,
wait
hold on.
a
Let me
minute,
finish
This
the
whole
Hold on,
telling
no,
Harry
hold
everything he
on.
needs to know was not cool. If you think Dumbledore was right for that, you are toxic. You are toxic yourself. He subjected and knowingly subjected Harry Potter to years of child abuse. Okay? When he left that boy on the front doorstep in the cold, which, by the way, let's talk about the fact he left that child outside all night. Y'all don't want to talk about that. But when he did
outside
that,
their house, they had to come out at some point.
At some point, 12 hours later, Joe, that baby was out there in the cold with no blanket. Secondly,
I thought he had a blanket.
he knew that when he put that child there, he knew he was about to subject that child to all that mess. He knew that Aunt Petunia was going to be abusive. He knew that that boy was going to be sleeping under the stairs. He knew that the nephew was going to be able to punch.
He saw the future?
Shut up. Let me finish. Let me finish. I'm cooking here. At minimum, Dumbledore knowing that stuff, at minimum, he could have put them people under the Imperious Curse. The unforgivable curse that forces people to do right or do whatever you want them to do. He could have forced them people not to abuse Harry. He knew what Harry was about to get into and didn't even prevent it, okay? He was the op, you guys, the whole time. He was a terrible principal. Oh my gosh, if I was a teacher working under him, I would have quit. He'd just be doing stuff. Remember in the first Harry Potter movie, Harry Potter and his friends broke all them rules, lost 150 points for Gryffindor. They were not supposed to win the House Cup at the end of the year.
Oh, no, he
and you
fudged
know
the
what
number.
happens? Dumbledore was like, oh, by the way, they broke some more rules, so I'm going to give them 50 points, 50 points, 50 points, 10 points, Neville Longbottom, and then boom, snatch that prize from the Slytherins. The Slytherins, we were supposed to get that year, and we were robbed. Dumbledore robbed us, and I'm not okay with that. That was dirty, and y'all know it.
Okay, I think
What
that's
about-
Dumbledore's the op.
Okay, so here's the thing. So if he had did everything you're supposed to do, would everything have played out the way it did? If he had did everything what you wanted him to do, if he did all that,
You act like the way it played it out was so smooth, and it worked out.
I mean, it
I mean,
worked,
and-
didn't
I mean,
it?
it
Eventually,
definitely worked.
Yeah.
And then, but if he had did that, if he had filled him in on everything like you wanted him to, and everything else played out everything else went how you wanted it to go, there probably could have been way more casualties because you got these kids who got too much. They know too much, and they was already.
So you just skipped over everything I said about him, about child abuse. You just skipped over all that.
You said
Y'all
that he-
making excuses for
but
what
you
he
said
did.
He knew that he was going to have
Yes,
it.
he
know.
did. No, he did. He literally told
How did
Harry,
he know?
I had hoped that your mother's sister wouldn't have been jealous, but alas, I was wrong. Why would you hope that? You knew that she hated her sister.
How did you know that he was going to be sleeping under the stairs?
Dumbledore knew he was not putting Harry in a spot. Professor McGonagall told him before he dropped Harry off in the cold that
But
they were the
eventually-
worst muggles she had ever seen.
Eventually,
What are you talking about?
Eventually, they came around.
When he was grown, and you know what?
Well, the
I'm done with my
thing
hot
is-
take. That's crazy.
What if that helped to build character?
It
because
did.
when you think about it,
Build
like,
character. He was the worst student in the world.
but how many times?
What
have-
character did he build? Because Joe, what character did Harry Potter build? Because I promise you, the book should have been called Hermione Granger and the Sorcerer's Stone, Hermione Granger and the Chamber of Secrets. The book should have been called Hermione Granger and the Prince of
Hermione didn't
Azkaban.
do everything.
She did more than that. What you talking about? She
Neville
did more.
Longbottom. Do we need to go back to that?
Here we go.
Neville Longbottom, Ron.
We got to
Drop
check
your
the chat.
go-gos,
Asia, check the chat for us, please. We got a lot of comments. Please.
Jada Goddess
Because the way
says,
you talking, it should have been.
Hold on, we're checking.
Slytherin in the Sorcerer's Stone.
I'm just saying Hermione did so much more. But anyway, I see a conversation
top.
about, okay, Jada Goddess says he wants Harry's mom, LOL. He was trying to backdoor Harry's dad. She's talking about Snape.
Damn.
Snape was awful. Cage 2478 says Snape was a real one for real. A villain's obsession with a teenage boy is a wild concept to begin with, says Beats of Blades. Vince R says Wusa and chicken nuggets, Asia. Roncom says, how often Goku spends time with his kids? All Goku does is eat, sleep, train, repeat. At least Shao Tucker got to spend time with his daughter.
That's crazy.
Before he did what he did, though. Beats of Blade says, just like the fourth Hokage. Speaking of which, why was the Hokage an ass? Why was the fourth Hokage an ass? Yeah. And then Beats of Blade says, Ron ending up with Hermione was weird. Can I address that,
Go for it.
please? Okay, Beats of Blades. I don't think the author has a true concept of what love looks like because putting Ron and Hermione together condones toxic relationships. I thought it was cute when I was younger, but I was toxic when I was younger. Now that I'm grown and my sister, shout out to my girl Catherine, has schooled me, Ron bullied Hermione up until, honestly, right before they got together. In the fourth book, Ron had a problem with another dude finding Hermione attractive because he never found her attractive until she was unattainable. He was a bully. Same thing. Snape loving Harry's mom is not cute either. It's actually really messed up because if you really loved Lily, if Snape really loved Lily, he would not have subjected her child to child abuse for years. Some at his own hands. The majority of the abuse at his hands. And then Harry and Hermione should have ended up together.
Nah.
Period. Harry and Hermione should have been together. Her forcing Harry with Ginny was just sloppy, lazy writing that came out of nowhere. There was no setup or build up for it. We knew when Harry Potter was interested in Cho Chang because he fell in love with her. He thought she was cute in book 3, and then by book 5, they were together. She built that up in the books. She never built up nothing with Harry and Ginny. It's weird that she set him up with his best friend's sister. But okay, we don't have to talk about that. That might be just irrelevant.
Let's
But
go back to
concept of love, wrong.
We're trying to read the chat.
Sorry.
We got real sidetracked.
I'm
All right.
sorry. That was my other hot take.
Whew. Oh,
All
okay.
right, I'm done.
All right. Well, any other comments? Okay, there was one more hot take that you didn't read. I think it was Julian said Goku in Daima
Oh yeah, I saw that.
looks better than the original.
I'll say this, just from what I've seen, I do think it makes more sense to have the hair on the head be the same hair as the fur on the body. If you ask me, I wouldn't have been opposed to seeing like just the all gold hair, but maybe that wouldn't have been as strong of a visual design. But either way, I'm just glad that Super Saiyan 4 is getting some love because it is the best transformation. Don't at me about that. Now, the whole thing about Harry under them stairs, though, because you see, Clark Kent got dropped off on a farm in Kansas. He had to grow up, learning the value of hard work.
I bet they loved him.
Yeah.
Must
But
be
they
nice.
was still on a pig-infested farm and can't see.
He wasn't
I love-
abused.
See, the
He
thing
wasn't
is
really
though.
around that many kids.
The thing is though, are you saying that Harry should have grown up in a sheltered, pampered,
That's
suburban?
the least he could have after losing his
What
parents.
made him soft?
Is that too much to ask for?
He didn't know him. He never even knew him.
Can he have a soft boy life? He just lost his mom and dad.
But he was destined for great things, so he had to come up
was
from
destined
struggles.
to die.
He can't be like Drake and come up from privileged lifestyle and then come to America, adopt the culture, and then dare to make a song called "Started from the Bottom, Now We Here." The bottom of what?
He would have been at Gryffindor trying to be friends with Voldemort. He probably would have turned out like Malfoy.
That's
Nah,
what you wrong.
if he had lived.
Voldemort
If
that
Drake
was
was
a
in Harry
Slytherin.
Potter, he'd be in there probably trying to slip some 20s in a pass for
he
a
would've been
butterbeer
he
to
would've
Dumbledore
slid
trying to
right
get
with-
some
with
extra
Malfoy,
points.
with
All
the
right.
other privilege.
We got to get back to our hot take.
See, now when we talk about Drake, now all of a sudden you want to get back
we
on
went on
topic.
Harry Potter for too long.
No, I'm
You
sorry.
know what? Make it
I
hot
have
take.
no more Harry Potter
Yeah.
hot takes. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, okay. All right. So, my next hot take, I think it's fair, but I feel like we need more anime that star adults as the main characters.
Yeah.
Most of the anime that's in the, popular realm is, we gotta be honest, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, Naruto. These are all like school-based
Kids and teenagers.
yeah, but also there's also the school element to it. So to me, Kaiju number 8 was dope because it, had actually starred like a young adult. But also I do
it was like
think,
about a blue collar individual.
but even if you're gonna have somebody who is gonna be younger, to me, like focusing on the school part, I'm ready to get past that. For example, Attack on Titan. Listen, they I'm sure they had some sort of classes at some point.
They didn't go to school. They was dumb as a box of rocks. All they knew how to do was fight.
I'm talking about the civilians.
I thought you was talking about the soldiers.
So I'm saying like school just wasn't like a main focus. Other things.
looking for any reason to hate. on
Exactly.
Attack
So
on
I'm just
Titan.
saying in general, like we need less school in anime, and that's my thoughts. Asia, anybody agree in the chat?
I saw Vince R say, I agree, David. Beats of Blaze says, I agree. Mr. Box says, got a hot take, the old school RoboCop and the RoboCop movies. Write that down. Beats of Blaze says, I hated how they made him lame, though. Zeph Floyd Dish says, putting teenagers in adult situations is starting to get tiring.
You know what? I have. You say you need more adults in anime,
Here
which
we
is
go.
crazy.
I know where this is
because you don't want any more isekais, but there's been plenty of isekais where adults are reincarnated as adults in other worlds, and they have their anime. So I'm just saying, you don't like isekais, but there's plenty of adults being reincarnated.
Give
as
some
other adults.
examples, and the titles have to be under 12 words.
We can just move on. Okay.
Jada Goddess says, but that's what shonen are. Cage 2478 says, strongly agree. And then Jada Goddess says, the coming of age stories.
Well, and that's why we also need more like what's the genre? Seinen anime. Like we need more of that. Like honestly, I feel like we're getting less and less of it every year. Like it feels like we're getting more shonen, and we don't get those more mature adult stories anymore in anime. Like they seem far in between. Like there's a show called older anime called Rainbow about these guys breaking out of prison, and they are younger. But that's it was like a gritty, mature story. It's not cut into random fan service. Like those are rare now. I don't know. So that's mine.
And honestly, leave the younger stories behind if you're going to throw in a whole bunch of fan service because, of course there's cultural differences between the US and Japan, but it doesn't matter. I don't care what your culture is. If you're sexualizing a character that's under 18, we can do without that. I'm sorry. Just leave it be. I don't care how developed she is right here. If the rest is off and if the number on that license plate is not 18 and up, leave it behind. I'm sorry.
with you. Tori, do you have another hot take? Or you out?
Because I got some shit.
What's up with Drake fans?
We not do.
Well, we not doing music.
You just-
We
with-
said
he's up
anime,
with Drake himself.
So he's just grasping at straws. He ain't got no hot takes left.
I
Yeah.
got hot takes now.
Or what you got?
Let me see.
Should we come back to you?
Oh yeah. So one thing I don't like about certain animes, even in video games, when they're fighting the bad guy, you know, everybody they fight the bad guy, and you know the bad guy's not really dead. It's just like main thing they did it with Inuyasha.
And what they do?
They would fight Naraku. They would fight Naraku, and every time they would fight him, it turns out it was just a puppet. It wasn't really Naraku. It was one of his many demon little puppets that he put together. I hate when they do that. Like, don't put somebody up against the main bad guy early on in the season, because we know that that's it. That it's not going to be the end of the fight. And I hate when they do that with games and anime. Like, if you're going to keep putting them up against these, like, you know, put them up against the main bad guy, you know, midway through the season, beginning of the season, and you know it's going to be long running, I feel like that's you wasting time. Like, we know how it's going to end. Either somebody on the good side is about to die, because we know the main bad guy is not about to die. So I'm just saying, like, you do that just to kill off somebody good. And another thing I hate is when you kill off. Oh, this is. Oh,
Wait, that's a different hot take?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, hold on. Save that one for the next
See,
round.
I thought you were going to go the route of, like, they defeat the bad guy, but then instead of, like, you know, I'm not saying they need to kill him, but it's like he's right there. He's clearly conscious. There's a gun right over there, 3 feet away from him, and then they turn their back full 180, start walking back towards their friends. The camera work is taken forever. The character looks back and forth, and it's like, oh, shit, I can grab this weapon.
No,
and
that's-
then turn, hey, hero, huh?
No, that's mainly in scary.
And then you
movies.
look, and then you see, like, the best friend is standing right there. This happens to me a lot in Yakuza, but I don't.
That's
trip.
mainly in scary movies when they do that. Is when you got the killer on the ground, and everybody think it's over. Nobody has situational awareness. Like, it does not exist in scary movies or any movie that has to deal with a killer. You got this person.
People in scary movies are just stupid. Period.
Especially with the Scream movies or the other movies like that. And just even anime, but like no situational awareness. This man's got on some Timberland boots, a swishing, swooshing jacket, the ones that make noise when you walk, and a rubber shirt on under it, and like nobody can hear any of that. Nobody can even sense anybody's moving. They look up, person's gone or whatever. But mainly in animes, when they introduce the bad guy or put him up against the good guys early on in the season, when they know they're not about to defeat him. I was like, you wasting my time. Why are you giving me this piss off scene, making me think something's good's gonna happen? Like, they're not gonna win, because you still need them for the rest of the season or the other or extra seasons after that.
Yeah.
So.
Also, Jason Voorhees can teleport. Anyways,
That's true.
Mortal Kombat stopped being good after Mortal Kombat 4, and this is coming from somebody who actually liked the 3D era. I do not care what any Mortal Kombat stan has to say. I'm getting tired of it. I'm tired of the nostalgia pandering. I'm not going to yell. I'm going to keep it soft boy on this one. I'm just going to keep it nice and reasonable so y'all can hear what I'm saying.
Your soft era.
Yeah,
like
you know,
I
I'm
always am.
going to keep it reasonable.
So what's wrong with Mortal Kombat? After Mortal Kombat 4, what went downhill?
All right, so Mortal Kombat's 1 through 3 and 4, they told a simple but straightforward story. Okay, you have your tournament. Big bad guy is Shang Tsung. He's taken the souls of all the losers. You defeat him, all the souls go back. Outworld can't merge Outworld with Earthrealm. Okay, everybody's cool. Mortal Kombat 2. Shang Tsung is on the chopping block because Shao Kahn is pissed that he lost Earthrealm, but then Shang Tsung's like, wait, let's do a winner take all, one more tournament. The winner gets everything. Let them come and fight here so they can fight you directly. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna give you one more shot. They come to Outworld. Liu Kang defeats Shao Kahn. Okay, that plan didn't work. Mortal Kombat 3. Okay, we're just gonna straight up invade Earthrealm. Let's take it by force. And then that doesn't work. Okay, Mortal Kombat 4. Let's introduce a new villain who's a former Elder God. Introduce some more lore. Okay, pretty straightforward. Liu Kang beats the bad guy. He's the champ. What do you expect? Cool. Now let's kill Liu Kang and kill Shao Kahn
Deception.
and have Quan Chi and Shang Tsung team up. Let's have all the remaining characters that we haven't built up as heroes anywhere near as significant as Liu Kang. Let's have these guys in the spotlight now. Okay, kind of out of left field, but interesting concept. What do you do with it? So there's this guy named Shujinko who was here the whole time since the very beginning, since even before that. He's the protagonist now because his name is actually Japanese for protagonist, and he was deceived by the Dragon King to bring him back to life so that he could take this god weapons from different realms and then from Quan Chi. Okay, out of left field, but okay, where do we go from there?
But I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Go for it.
My question though is, when we're asking about what's wrong with the game, now you're getting into the story.
Yeah.
A lot of people play the game.
Oh, you want to talk about gameplay too?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You're getting into the story. I know people who play Mortal Kombat that
Yeah.
don't even know the story like that, and it's just kind of an afterthought. So I mean, even
Oh, no, I'll tell you this about gameplay.
think about like even Street Fighter. People aren't necessarily playing for the story. So what about the actual gameplay? I mean, I don't know. You tell
It's
me.
about as casual of a fighting game as you can get. Yeah, there's some combos. Yeah, there's some meta, but spam your abusable special moves. How many times have you seen people in either Injustice or the new Mortal Kombat games where you have a character that has a gun and they're just OP as shit and you can just spam the shit out of that? Or has a character that can jump up above the screen and then come back down in a damn near unavoidable move, or disappear underneath the stage and then come back with a damn near unavoidable move? The games end up being busted as hell. So yeah, the gameplay's not invincible either. The character designs have been shit since Mortal Kombat X. And even Injustice 1. From Injustice 1 onwards, character designs pretty much terrible with few exceptions. The storytelling has only gotten worse and worse. They keep doubling down on all this multiverse shit that nobody cares about. Even after the DLC for the game where we said, hey y'all, you did a reboot. I'm not gonna yell, soft boy era. You did a reboot, and the one thing we did not ask for is more multiverse stuff. You've established a new universe, just stay there. And no, we need more multiverse. As if even in popular culture outside of video games like comic book movies, they've worn out the multiverse, so we're doing it again. Because Mortal Kombat thinks it somehow earned some big MCU level cross. Not gonna yell, soft boy era. And then, of course, there's all the shitty business practices with WB Games. Mortal Kombat has failed for a reason. This next movie ain't gonna help because you built a crappy foundation with that terrible movie from 2021 that nobody liked, or at least nobody should, because it didn't introduce anything outside of the lore and the gore, but you didn't know how to tell a story. If you actually gave a shit, you could have hired me. And I've been a Mortal Kombat hater for years, and I can do a better story. Not gonna yell. Soft boy era.
We lost it.
No, I'm back. It's cool.
Lost it.
So yeah, Mortal Kombat 2, when that movie drops, I hope you go into that with the absolute lowest of the low, bottom of the Cheeto bag expectations, because it ain't gonna be any better than the last one. And it had one of the screenwriters from the Wonder Woman 1984 on that last one too. Remember that.
So there's a question from Fire in the Day Off. It says, change the subject.
Yep.
Are y'all gonna go see Avatar 3?
Oh, most definitely.
You know what's crazy? I haven't even seen Avatar 1.
You're like the only one.
Probably.
I mean, literally, you have to be the only one.
I've only seen the first.
I
He hasn't seen any
wanted
of
to
them.
see it at the first. I wanted to see the first one, but I just never got around to it. And
I'm sick and tired of the Avatar movies.
2 is very visual.
Tori, you got more episodes of One Piece to watch.
Here's
You'll
the thing.
be okay.
No, here's my thing with the Avatar movie. All it is a mix of some bullshit. It's literally the Pocahontas story mixed with some other stories, just made with blue aliens and people. It's dumb. It's dumb as fuck. And
But I promise you that most people are not like, the main draw is not the story.
Yeah.
It's the
visual effects.
Yeah, the visual
Yeah,
effects
it's really
are
pretty.
groundbreaking.
Just paint a picture and call it a day.
No, that's crazy. No,
What?
we got to be honest. Like, we
If
got
you're not,
No, I'm saying, like, we live in a world where, like, with really bad CGI, I mean, to be honest, even for Marvel, like, their CGI is like, when you watch that movie, it looks like everything is real. That's why people like the Avatar movies. No one's going there saying, this is the best story. I mean,
Or even, case in point, this is a modern example too. I just finished watching Batman Ninja versus the Yakuza League. Story, it's all right, but I'm obviously not there for like some big heartwarming tale to have me crying like a bitch. I have other media for that. But it's a visual spectacle. The action is dope. the character designs and the way they twist it around and all the references to Japanese culture and anime and stuff, that's what I'm there for.
I think we should give James Cameron a pass on how basic the storyline is when you think about just like how much effort is put into like the CGI and the visual effects and the really cool things that they do. So it's like they kind of get a pass for kind of having a basic storyline because you probably have to have a basic storyline in order to create
Something that massive.
Well,
massive
I
and
gotta-
for all these years.
I mean, but
Hope
that's-
that-
I'm just saying it's just like a small
I
pass.
mean, listen, and also
we can
in his
give some
defense,
grace.
in his
That's in the
defense,
same category as I don't care what lyrics there are as long as I can move to the.
that's
music.
legitimate. Some
That's
people feel that way about
Yeah.
songs.
But here's the question.
But what were you saying? What was? But
Well, I'm saying, like, you know, we got to be honest. Don't forget that James Cameron did break the record. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously we can criticize, et cetera, but it worked. And it worked.
Here's my question. The question then becomes, what was the intention of the story? Like, how seriously does the story take itself? Because at the end of the day, we can talk about like the effort that went into like the visual effects and all that, but when it comes to writing a story, all you need is some pen and paper.
I
It
mean,
does-
to
you
me,
know,
the
you can-
story is good.
yeah.
It's just not anything
It's not-
groundbreaking.
right.
Yeah.
but it's still a good.
But,
It's
like,
still a good story, though.
yeah.
it's just
and
not.
it's very simple.
Yeah.
And it's just like they kind of are afforded that grace of having a simple story
Right.
because of how much is into that whole production.
I mean, and
as a
Asia,
whole.
you'll probably hate this example, but similar even to Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movies. Because at the same time, it's like, yeah, they're going into the park. Yeah, we know this is going to happen. Yeah, we know the dinosaurs are going to get loose because humans are stupid. Yeah, we know the T-Rex is going to show up. Okay, that looked cool.
It's visually pleasing.
$12, please.
And you know what? You know what? From what I've seen in trailers and quick clips on the internet, it is visually pleasing as well.
Yeah.
My issue with Jurassic Park has always just been, I think it's just a dumb concept to keep messing with these dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go off on that.
I mean,
so.
even again, like whether you're watching a Fast and Furious movie or a Transformers movie. Yeah, granted, the stories in those I've heard have been really terrible, but you know, at the end of the day, you're there to watch big heaps of trash fight other big heaps of trash and blow shit up. That's what you paid your $12 for.
My next hot take. Let me pull it up here. Okay. If an anime gets caught up to the source material, to the manga, manhwa, then making filler episodes should be illegal. It's time to stop.
It's just straight up illegal, huh?
I mean, it's
Said
not
what should be illegal?
filler episodes.
Prosecution
But here's
worthy.
what, specifically when, because here's my issue. So Naruto, Bleach, name any anime. We get caught up to the source material. Attack on Titan, whatever. You get caught up to the source material. So there's nothing more to adapt. So what do? Let's make some random shit up.
That's more money coming in. I mean,
But for fans who wants to watch these,
okay, but you got to look at. But they not doing it just for the fans. They doing it for themselves too. The fans want to see more. They don't want to wait till the next episode. So let's give them some filler episodes. and
Maybe
then
that's
they
your
like-
problem.
Then the company's like, well, we want to keep making money. The company's like, we want to keep making money. The consumers are like, we want to keep watching. So he's like, you know what? Let's give them some filler episodes. As they get both sides is winning.
Maybe that's the problem with anime fans. Maybe.
What was that? What we got?
Anime-
Oh, hold on. We got a Julian.
Oh, Julian with the damn 10
Gifted.
gifted subs.
Hey.
Appreciate
Wow,
that.
thank
Damn.
you.
Appreciate it,
Thank you
Julian.
so
hey,
much.
hey, hold on. No, clap that up. Hold on.
Yeah, for real.
Appreciate it. Thank
Come
you,
on.
thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe that's the problem with anime fans. I thought I saw somebody in the chat say earlier, anime requires patience. How come y'all
Y'all
can't
impatient.
wait?
Y'all
How come we
impatient.
can't
Who's
wait
y'all?
a year
No, because
for
I can wait.
once the source material is caught up? Why can't we wait until it's time to resume it again? Why do we have to add filler? If anime is about patience, why are we being patient?
That's the thing.
How many of y'all are patient? Are you patient?
Hey, look,
Yeah,
I am
look.
the epitome of patience.
Hey.
Do you understand the amount of shit that I've had to wait for them to finally release Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Switch? For a Tekken Bloodline Season 2, pretty please, Harada, Michael Murray? For Metroid Dread, I had to wait damn near 20 years.
Nah, I don't know, cause
I know
anime
patience.
fans are not patient. They're
Okay,
not patient
but
at
here's
all. The demand for anime
I have
is
a-
so high. That's why these companies
But
are working so hard. Mappa, all that's why they working so hard because the demand is higher than the material.
I
But
have a
you
response
expect me to
for
be
you, though.
patient and wait for 500 episodes for a show to be worth my time.
But here's my response to that is this, Tori.
Mm.
It's almost like, in my opinion, the filler thing is short-sighted, and here's why: from a quality standpoint, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the time, yes, we get these extra stories, et cetera, but then why now are there websites and graphs and charts dedicated to here's how to watch this anime? Watch episodes 1 through 50. Oh, then skip these and then do this and do
That's
this.
because we have people who don't like the fillers complaining about it.
Okay, but-
and they say they will boycott and
So you're
not
saying there's
watch
something
the
wrong
anime.
with them then?
No, all I'm saying is the people that are doing the complaining are the ones who are making these websites and saying, if you don't want to watch the filler because they complain, I'm not going to watch
Yeah,
the
they
anime
made
because
it
of the
for a
filler.
reason.
So then you have people who are pandering to you saying, if you don't want to watch it here, I got you. I went through and sifted through everything and picked out all the filter
Beats of
filtered
Blade
episodes and all
says
that.
not everybody is you, Tori. I don't like filler. And people are saying I can wait. I can wait for the Switch. I don't know, bro. That's what I'm saying.
And again, I'll say, like, again, as a longtime Dragon Ball fan, Dragon Ball Z fan, I would never ask of some newcomer to Dragon Ball, sit through everything, don't skip any filler. That driving episode with Piccolo and Goku when they learn how to drive cars just so that they can never use them again because, newsflash, they can fly, they can teleport. I would never ask somebody to do that. I'm not crazy.
Is this crazy?
They're not crazy.
Is this crazy for me to throw out there as an example to me? If this was live action, because you think about a live action movie,
Yep.
they are adapting the script. So you finish a movie and it's fire and it goes crazy in the box office, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, a script is going to take probably a year to write, et cetera, boom, boom, boom. So after it goes crazy in the box office, they're like, yo, we got to start filming right now because the box office went crazy. Hey, intern, just make some stuff up for it.
Joker 2.
Live action does not have the funds for filler episodes.
Oh, hold up. CWDC shows. They damn near had some filler in there too. Of like, you got a story going on. You got a story going on, and then all of a sudden, the Flash is doing a fucking musical number with Supergirl in a crossover. Professor Zoom is over here killing people. Can we talk about that, please?
Yeah.
The show is still good.
Anton Cameron says, so glad I found this live. And we're glad you're here. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. We're also on Twitch, by the way. I see you're on Facebook. We're also on Twitch, just so you know.
Yeah.
Also, I was incorrect earlier. I said I thought anime requires patience. Antoine actually said earlier, no, One Piece requires patience.
You know, it's funny that, you know.
No,
it's,
Corey,
no,
stop.
I just think
You already
it's funny.
had your hot take.
I think it's funny that it's okay to talk about One Piece when you're slandering it, but when you're praising it, we got to keep moving. I see how it
It's
is.
not okay when you praise it, because we've heard enough.
It's cool when they do it. All right.
All right, who, that was, I think I went last, right?
Yeah.
So, Asia, did you say you didn't have one?
I said I'm not because I went
Okay.
too
So I
long
think
on
we've
the
gone
last
through
one.
our last round.
wait till
we're
next
doing
time.
a last call in the chat for anybody that wants to submit a hot take. We can only do probably 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But in the chat, somebody got one, let us know.
Yeah, I'm about to time you out, but
Asia, we got one in the chat here. Could you read Fire Your Day Off, please?
nope, too late. About to delete it.
Tori, I'm
Fire
going to
Your
snatch
Day
that out
Off
of
says,
About to get timed out.
One Piece sucks. It's not real. There's no conspiracy. One Piece sucks.
Dang.
Y'all just wanted to read that. That's just crazy.
I read the first one that came
No,
out.
I see what y'all doing.
Tori,
Y'all-
even the chat says that you are a disciple for One Piece. The chat's saying that.
The same two
Beats
people.
of Blade.
The same two people. All right. Solange makes better music for me than Beyonce. I could agree with that.
That's probably true.
I can agree with that.
She's a different style, and I do enjoy it.
Who's Solange again?
Her sister.
Beyonce's sister.
Her little
okay.
sister.
Beyonce had a sister?
Yeah. Okay, what's after that? Because we're doing these are quick ones. We're running through them. What else we got?
Nick says my hot take, Hunter x Hunter is vastly.
Vastly what?
I think I don't know. Oh, sorry.
Overrated.
It's vastly overrated.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, overrated.
Oh.
You know they said that about Attack on Titan over the weekend too.
Are we talking about Attack on Titan?
Yeah, they were saying that over the weekend.
They've just been trying to just
Overrated.
whatever.
being
When
messy.
I saw overrated, that's what it reminded me of.
I got you.
I don't watch.
You're just in the middle of any conversation. Here comes Tori throwing a grenade at the dinner table, like just.
Okay.
I don't
Asia,
watch Hunter x Hunter, so I'm not sure.
I've heard other people say that. I actually never finished it.
The latest episodes of Solo Leveling will remind you of Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah. All right, Asia, what's after that?
Hot take: Vinland Saga was overlooked,
Who said that?
underrated. I was about to read it. Antoine.
Facts. Vinland Saga is one of the best anime out. Actually, over the weekend at Indiana Comic-Con, you interviewed somebody, Joe, and they did say it's one of the best
This is
anime.
true.
And part of the reason they said that is because it's other shows have it, but that character actually goes through like real growth, as in they're one way in one season and they're a totally different character in the other,
Yep.
but the arc makes sense. You don't see that in anime that much where they are like almost a different person completely. I don't want to spoil it, but Vinland Saga is definitely dope and underrated. I agree. Asia was next. If a man drops a pencil on the ground.
Okay.
No, you're laughing.
No, keep going, please.
If a man drops an item on the ground, or if a man has to pick something up off the ground, men need to stop bending over to retrieve these items.
All right, nah, you lost this one.
No.
Because here's the thing, bro.
No, but listen, men use your knees, bend the knees. But if you are a grown man dropping a pencil and you throwing it back, bending all the way over,
Here's the thing. They say the same thing about women, though. They say a woman should step to the side of it.
that might be true.
And then
sure.
squat down instead
Okay.
of in. That should be that's for anybody though. They say that
but
for
this
anybody.
is for men specifically. Nobody want to see wide open, all that. Like, no.
Who you be behind? Or they
Right, what are you-
they busting it open wide open to pick something up?
I've been in places where somebody drops a penny.
Did you stop and keep walking?
I turn around.
Oh man.
I've been in places where I've seen like
Asia,
a
can you
man.
confirm?
No, okay. For example, I've like, or if you ever see like, you ever help somebody move? Okay, there's a box on the ground. Instead of the man using his knees to grab it, he's bending over.
Okay, that's just bad technique for your back. But
I agree. So why? And not just that. And nobody want to see all that either. Like, you know.
If I'm helping somebody move, I'm not even looking at other people.
Okay, my
I'm
question:
moving-
how do you pick something up off the ground?
I just pick it up.
Do you use your knees?
I use proper lifting techniques because I can't afford to have bad back problems.
Okay, so you use your knees. You know, there's some guys that.
Actually, I use all back and a jerking twisting motion.
All right, let's see what the chat says. Asia, is the chat disagree or what? What's going on?
Somebody said, Cage2478 said, where did this come from?
something had to have happened to you, bro. You had to have been at the
You know
gym
what? I
or something.
I think what happened, somebody unexpectedly bent over the pickups and you walked into them, right?
No,
Oh.
I just saw it happen.
Julian says, here we go, LOL. Fired says, yeah, I don't like it. They asses be out like plumbers.
Thank you.
Cage says again, where did this come from? Beats of Blaze, Asia, get your man, please. If I
Please.
could, I would. Antoine Cameron says, he said, drop it like it's hot. Nick says, let David cook.
Thank you.
There you go.
Nick. Mr. And then hold on, there's more. Hold on, there was another one. Mr. Boggs says David got a point. Just saying.
Yeah.
Julian is asking to demonstrate. Now we can't demonstrate.
Dave, show them what you talk. So I don't think they know. I think they visual.
Why don't you show us the proper way? How about that?
This is me right here. That's how I pick up stuff.
No, you standing up.
No,
though.
if
If you're
you're
standing
up.
up and you have to pick up that bottle of water, what do you do?
It wouldn't be on the floor. That's dirty and unsanitary.
It was just
It's on the floor now.
Instead of be lying.
I mean,
Okay, yeah, you just killed your own argument there,
I'm
bro.
saying but he's doing it like we outside moving and stuff. I wouldn't have it on the ground.
I mean, here's my thing.
Here's what happened, though. To explain, I think Cage
Okay,
asked
go
what happened. I was,
Wait, Elite Clutch says,
Oh, what's
who's
up, Elite?
shaking it like a salt shaker, picking up a pencil?
That man, like how long do you need to be bent over to be picking
Now,
up a pencil?
the minute you started, I already knew where it was going.
You did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was like a very you thing to say.
Beast of Blaze says, how are we supposed to know, David?
That's
Follow
what I'm
him for
saying.
more man tips.
That's what I'm saying, Dave. You need to show them so they know what to be prepared for.
David, I shit you not. There is actually some sort of influencer out there who made multiple tutorials on how a man should behave, like whether it be something as simple as bending over to pick something up, or how to sit, how to stand, how to be quote unquote alpha,
Ooh,
how to dominate the space.
I saw one that
command
said,
attention.
I saw one that
Dave,
said
please don't.
men should not order dessert.
Oh,
I've heard of
that's
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
You
Now,
trying to eat something
Pizza
sweet.
Blade asked David, "Why are you looking that long?" Is the real question.
Yeah, bro, mind your business.
I'm not looking
Don't
that
be
long.
looking up a dude's crap every time. Like, what are you doing?
No, I'm not
Like,
doing
I-
anything.
but you looking long enough to know that they picking up a pencil. That's too long. You bending over.
You look long enough to come up with this very vivid description, David.
No, okay, you know what, David? I'm gonna defend you now. I was with David one day. We was going somewhere and we saw like a man like bend over
all the way.
and we glanced. We were like, whoa.
This is just a case of you just not minding your business. I'm just saying.
I just happened to glance up. If I'm,
We
if I'm at
glanced
the
and saw
bank,
it.
Let somebody live their damn
That's
life,
a long
David.
ass glance
No,
to
it's
know
not.
that
Okay, if I'm at the
that they got it tooted up, busted open, and picking up a pencil while they at it.
Oh, we got one more. Fire the Day Off says, I think J. Cole would have smoked Kendrick if he continued the beef with Kendrick.
Nah, J. Cole was too afraid of the blood. What are you talking about?
And there's still the matter of what dirt does Kendrick got on J. Cole? He might have been ready for him too.
Yeah.
He might have learned some things that would have.
J. Cole was too busy kissing and hugging on stage with Drake.
And in 8 bars, I'll explain that phrase. Anyway.
Dang. All right, well, we appreciate I appreciate y'all coming through for the stream. This was actually really cool. If y'all want us to do another hot take stream soon, let us know. Maybe in the future we'll do another hot take stream. What'd you think?
Look, I'm sure we got more shit to say.
I got some more truths.
Asia, would you do another hot take stream?
I would do another one.
You are brave, Asia, because your head was about to catch on fire.
No, I'm good. I'm cool and calm.
Asia, you a damn lie. Are you okay?
I was cool.
That's not true.
All right, y'all. But for real, thank you for tuning into the stream.
Thank
We will
you.
be back.
Check out our clips page. The link is in the chat. We'll have clips up there. And then we'll see y'all next week.
See you then.
Bye.
Peace out, y'all.
Thank you, Alan, for the follow.